Chapter 103. Night Sorrow's fingers loosened and tightened as he brandished the reincarnation spear to defend himself. If he didn't do so, he would have fallen. Yang Lei surrounded Night Sorrow and attacked continuously, making Night Sorrow tired. However, Yang Lei didn't attack Night Sorrow violently, so there was no point in training. A quarter of an hour. Just as the quarter of an hour had passed, Yishan sat down on the ground and gasped for breath. There was not a single bit of energy left in his flesh and dantian. He had completely used up all of it. After resting for a few breaths, Night Sorrow stood up and left. After leaving the martial arts field, Night Sorrow went straight to his room to cultivate. He didn't even take a shower. I didn't expect 13's limit to be so high. I thought he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Mo Chen said. Limits are reached through endurance. He has been persevering. In that situation, even if he was at the peak of the second step, he might not be able to hold on for 15 minutes. This is perseverance. Aoi looked at the ground where Night Sorrow sat and said. That was Night Sorrow's sweat. Did you see that? No one is forcing you to be like him, but you have to know that strength is your own. If you want to become strong and be respected by others, Yishan's path is the most effective and direct. After Yang Lei finished speaking, she didn't pay any more attention to them. Some things only needed to be pointed out, and there was no point in saying more. Tang Tian, Chu Ning, and the rest looked at each other and left. They had been dealt a blow by Night Sorrow. They used to think that Night Sorrow's efforts were for show in front of the elders of the Taishan Peak. Now, they didn't think so. I'm a little impressed by 13. The strength of my attack just now was mid-third order. Later on, it was early third order. For him to be able to withstand it, one reason is because of his perseverance. Another reason is that his body's toughness is high. Sparring with him will also have an effect on my body's toughness. Yang Lei told Qing Ji. I have confidence in 13 participating in the best newcomer competition, Aoi said as she turned to look at the main building. And he's currently in the middle period of the second level of element gathering tier. Once he reaches the third level of element gathering tier, he'll be able to take the origin increasing pill. Then, he'll be able to enter the fourth level of element gathering tier very quickly. Yang Lei said. It wasn't that she didn't have confidence in Night Sorrow, but she was worried about the situation at the Nainin Peak. That's true. That guy Shou Hua was already in the fifth level of element gathering tier some time ago. Aoi sighed. She felt gloomy for Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was already so outstanding that he couldn't be any more outstanding, but he just had to face the unscrupulous opponent of the Nainin Peak. Night Sorrow cultivated for most of the day. In the evening, he took a shower and came out to eat. In the morning, after practicing with Yang Lei, he was sweating all over. He didn't even take a shower before he went to meditate. 13th junior brother, is it painful to practice with your 9th senior sister? Mo Chen asked as he ate. This caused Chu Lingfei, who was beside him, to pinch him. It's painful, but I'm more happy. The faster my cultivation increases, the more my battle prowess increases, Night Sorrow said as he stuffed food into his mouth. 11th junior brother, do you see? This is the difference. What do you see? That's the bad side. 13 sees the gains. Yang Lei gave Mo Chen a disdainful look. Serves you right. Who asked you to show off? Aoi also glanced at Mo Chen. Mo Chen smiled and didn't say anything. This was completely asking for trouble. After eating, Night Sorrow and Yang Lei once again began their practice. After persisting for a few minutes, Night Sorrow, who was so tired that he couldn't catch his breath, directly returned to his room to continue cultivating. Reading Axie novels forever free. If you don't go crazy, you won't be able to live. Yang Lei sighed and went back to cultivate. She had reached a bottleneck when she cultivated her covering heaven hand to the realm of cloud flipping hand. Now, it seemed that there was a possibility of a breakthrough. She wanted to calm down and study it. Also, after her cultivation reached the 5th rank, she had reached a level that could be improved. Countless cultivators were stuck at the 4th rank bottleneck. Even the most heaven-defying geniuses needed an opportunity to break through. Otherwise, their cultivation would never be able to increase. Yang Lei had crossed this line and could increase her cultivation. Of course, after the 5th rank, the energy required to advance was enormous. She needed to persevere for many years. Night Sorrow's craziness spurred on the Dragon Spring Courtyard's cultivation atmosphere. Tang Tian, Chu Ning, and the others also desperately cultivated every day. However, there was a problem on Night Sorrow's side. It was a hidden problem. When he was in the blood-refining realm of the Myriad Tao Tome, he used blood essence pills to aid his cultivation. Now, the blood essence pills weren't as effective as when he was in the blood-refining realm. He had to eat 2 at a time, and there weren't many blood essence pills left. Night Sorrow calculated that he could only use them for 2 months. This made him somewhat anxious. After eating breakfast again, Night Sorrow didn't train with Yang Lei. Ninth Senior Sister, I want to go to Tianji Tower. You don't need to rush to do missions. Isn't cultivating like this good? If you feel tired, you can rest for a few days. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said. She felt that she was putting too much pressure on Night Sorrow. Senior Sister, it's not what you think. I need some materials and want to go to Tianji Tower to take a look. Otherwise, it will delay things. Night Sorrow shook his head. What materials do you need? We'll help you find a way. It's indeed too early for you to do bronze missions. Iron missions aren't stressful for you. It's not worth it to waste time. Aoi also opened her mouth to oppose. Senior Sister, I want to refine a 2nd rank pill. I need the black and white twin flower python's gallbladder and golden silk leopard's blood. I need a lot of them. Also, I need green radish grass. Night Sorrow stated the materials he needed. These were the materials needed to refine the 2nd rank pill, leopard embryo tendon strengthening pill. What kind of 2nd rank pill are you trying to refine? Why haven't I heard of it before? Aoi rubbed her forehead and thought for a moment. She couldn't think of anything. It's a pill that strengthens the tendons and meridians. It's an ancient recipe. I need it to cultivate my body's strength. Night Sorrow said. This was the pill he found in Feng Chen's alchemy manual that was suitable for him. The gallbladder of the black and white twin flower python is easy to get. However, you need to find the golden silk leopard. You can buy green radish grass anywhere. There's a lot of it in medicinal shops. Aoi's alchemy skills were very high. Therefore, she was very clear about the materials needed to refine pills. Are you in a hurry? Yang Lei thought for a moment and asked. I need it within 2 months. Night Sorrow nodded. He wouldn't give up on cultivating the Myriad Tao Tome. In Night Sorrow's heart, the cultivation of the Myriad Tao Tome was more important than the Holy Cauldron Scripture. The highest level of the Holy Cauldron Scripture was to cultivate to the Saint Realm. However, the Myriad Tao Tome had the 8th and 9th stages. Alright, I'll go with you. Send someone back to the sect to get the gallbladder of the black and white twin flower python and green radish grass. We'll look for the golden silk leopard here. Yang Lei saw Night Sorrow's expression and knew that this matter was very important to Night Sorrow. Chapter 104. That's fine too. I'll help you make a trip to the sect and bring the resources you need. Yang Lei said. She knew that she would be safe if she followed Night Sorrow, but it would also lose the meaning of gaining experience. Senior sister, I don't have any sect merit points. I don't want the energy gathering pill. I'll exchange it for materials. If it's not enough, I'll pay with spirit stones. Night Sorrow took out some low-grade spirit stones. Night Sorrow had 2 high-grade spirit stones, but he didn't want to use them. The value of a high-grade spirit stone was incomparable to that of a low-grade spirit stone and a middle-grade spirit stone. Even if he used more low-grade spirit stones than the exchange rate, no one would be willing to exchange them. There's no need for that. You're a heaven-ranked disciple. It's not a problem to use some materials. I'll take care of it. Yang Lei didn't take Night Sorrow's spirit stones. Then I'll take my leave. Night Sorrow tightened his grip on the reincarnation spear on his back and left the courtyard. He sat on the beast carriage driven by Little Six and rushed towards Tianji Tower. When he arrived at Tianji Tower, a staff member came to receive Night Sorrow. Looking at the reception lady in a white dress, Night Sorrow thought of Sikong Chuyu. He didn't know what Sikong Chuyu was busy with right now and whether he had safely arrived at Yunwu Mountain. Young master, please follow me. Seeing Night Sorrow in a daze, the reception lady said. Well, it's like this. I wonder if Enforcer Dong is here. Night Sorrow calmed down and said. Since you're looking for Enforcer Dong, I'll pass on the message. I wonder if Enforcer Dong has the time to meet you. The reception lady looked at Night Sorrow and said. She felt that Night Sorrow was just a rank 2 martial artist. As the person in charge of Tianji Tower in Danding City, Enforcer Dong wouldn't meet him. Please pass on the message. My name is Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded at the receptionist. She glanced at Night Sorrow again and went to report. Although she felt that Night Sorrow was overestimating himself, she was also worried that Night Sorrow was a young master from some family and that he had come here on some big mission. Thus, she went to report. Enforcer Dong, who was reading an anecdote on the top floor of Tianji Tower, immediately got up and went downstairs when he heard that Night Sorrow had come. Greetings, Enforcer Dong. Seeing Enforcer Dong, Night Sorrow bowed to greet him. Hurry up and make a pot of good tea and send it to the reception room on the 2nd floor. We'll take a seat upstairs. Enforcer Dong brought Night Sorrow to the reception room on the 2nd floor. Forever on free _w look square root c small / say g asterisk after sitting down, Night Sorrow said, Enforcer Dong, I'm sorry. Sikong is at my place, but he was still discovered. Don't worry. Although Miss didn't come here before she left, she sent someone to deliver a letter when she arrived at Dongxian City. I know the details. Thank you for taking care of my miss for so long. Enforcer Dong cupped his fists towards Night Sorrow. Seeing that Night Sorrow was a little surprised, Enforcer Dong then told him some things about himself. Enforcer Dong was actually an outer sect disciple of Yunwu Mountain. When he was young, Enforcer Dong was injured in a battle with an enemy. It was Sikong Chuyu's mother, Yang Yu, who saved him and brought him to Yunwu Mountain. After that, he joined Yunwu Mountain and became an outer sect disciple. When Yang Yu got married, Enforcer Dong followed Yang Yu to the Sikong family and became one of Yang Yu's guards. Because it was inconvenient for a male guard, Yang Yu asked Sikong Tianding to make the arrangements. Afraid that the struggle in the Sikong family would implicate Enforcer Dong, Sikong Tianding used some means to arrange for Enforcer Dong to be far away, directly to the eastern Xian region. Sikong Chuyu was also a member of Tianji Tower, and his status was much higher than Enforcer Dong's. He was an inspector of Tianji Tower. When they were in public, Enforcer Dong would call him Lord, but in private, he would call him Mississippi. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. He originally felt that it was strange why Enforcer Dong was so respectful towards Sikong Chuyu. Miss has specially instructed me to help you as much as I can. So, Night Sorrow, if you have any problems, you don't need to be polite with me, Enforcer Dong said to Night Sorrow. At this time, the receptionist came in and heard this sentence. Her expression immediately changed. She didn't expect Enforcer Dong to value Night Sorrow so much. Unruly. Don't you know how to knock? Enforcer Dong glared at the receptionist angrily. The receptionist hurriedly apologized, then bowed and left. Tianji Tower is a force of the Sikong family. After hearing Enforcer Dong's words, Night Sorrow was a little shocked. This Sikong family could extend their tentacles to the eastern Xian region. This was too terrifying. No, things are more complicated than you think. It doesn't matter if I tell you a little. I'll just tell you. Enforcer Dong poured a cup of tea for Night Sorrow and himself, then slowly explained. Tianji Tower had a long history, and no one knew how long it had been. It was spread across the 9 regions and 18 prefectures. No force could or dared to touch it. Any force that dared to provoke Tianji Tower would be destroyed, and no one knew who destroyed them. Such a huge organization naturally needed people to manage it. The management staff of Tianji Tower came from all over the world. There were members of family forces, sect forces, and also individual cultivators. Therefore, the management staff of each force had to work for the benefit of the force they belonged to. The higher-ups of Tianji Tower didn't care about this. The only rule was that Tianji Tower's interests were paramount. They were not allowed to betray Tianji Tower's interests, and they were not allowed to betray Tianji Tower. Otherwise, they would be killed. The Sikong clan was currently using the Extreme Empyrean Towers network to find talents. If there were any particularly outstanding talents, the Sikong clan would recruit them. This method wasn't only used by the Sikong clan, other clans were doing the same as well. Yes, this is indeed a good way to find talents. Some forces can also rise by relying on this method. Night Sorrow nodded. Various forces are recruiting. Tianji Tower itself is doing the same. You have high potential and are a red follower in Danding City. I will report this to the Sikong family, but first, I have to report to the higher-ups of Tianji Tower. This is the rule. Enforcer Dong explained to Night Sorrow. I'm a red follower. What does this mean? Night Sorrow didn't expect this to be related to him. Red follower is the level of attention. However, if you want to be recruited by Tianji Tower, this is not enough. There are also purple follower, black follower, and so on. You should know that the management staff recruited by Tianji Tower, like me, are also low-level members. The core members are all recruited and trained by Tianji Tower. Enforcer Dong continued to explain to Night Sorrow. I know. A large organization must have a perfect management system. However, this has nothing to do with me at the moment. Night Sorrow said with a smile. You know this, but you can still be calm. This is good. Take it slow. This indeed has nothing to do with you at the moment. Are you here to accept a mission or to exchange for something? Enforcer Dong asked. It's like this. I want to know where I can find information about the golden silk leopard. What price do I have to pay to exchange for this information? Night Sorrow asked. Chapter 105. Enforcer Dong, just do what you need to do. I don't want to bring you any trouble. Night Sorrow said again. He didn't want to bring trouble to Enforcer Dong because of his own reasons. It's okay. You stay here and drink your tea. I'll go look for some information. Enforcer Dong smiled and went out. Under normal circumstances, Enforcer Dong wouldn't do this. Information was the wealth of Tianji Tower. Giving it away for free was equivalent to harming the interests of Tianji Tower. However, Night Sorrow's situation was different. Night Sorrow was a red follower of the Empyrean Terminus Tower, so it was possible to give him some help when appropriate. This way, he would be able to leave a good impression in the hearts of the people he followed, paving the way for the Empyrean Terminus Tower to rope him in the future. After a quarter of an hour, Enforcer Dong came back. Someone has seen a golden silk leopard in Qingshui Great Lake. It's too far from here. It's more than 20,000 miles away. In addition, the environment there is too dangerous. You need to be at least at the peak of the 3rd rank to find resources there. It's a bit far, but it doesn't matter. Can Enforcer Dong provide me with a map? Knight Sorrow thought for a moment and decided to go. The refining of the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill was the first problem. Okay. Then I'll give you a map of Eastern Profound Domain. It'll be convenient for you to go anywhere in the future. Enforcer Dong took out a map and handed it to Knight Sorrow. It was a 5-foot square animal skin map. There were barren mountains, great lakes, and various cities on it. The white markings are cities, which are safe areas. The green markings are normal areas, the red markings are dangerous areas, and the black markings are forbidden areas. So, you have to pay attention to the color division. Enforcer Dong pointed out how to look at the map. Knight Sorrow put away the map and then cupped his hands to Enforcer Dong. Thank you, Enforcer Dong. Since you seem to be in a hurry, I won't keep you any longer. Remember, safety comes first. When you come back, come and have some tea with me. Also, you need to get some clover and jade containers. Otherwise, the golden silk leopard's blood will not be preserved. Enforcer Dong nodded to Knight Sorrow. He could tell that Knight Sorrow was in a hurry. After exchanging for some 3-leaf clovers at Tianji Tower, Knight Sorrow left Tianji Tower. At the entrance, he saw Chu Ning, Tang Tian, and the others. They were weaker, so they were all doing missions together. Tang Tian, when you go back, tell your 6th martial aunt that I will be out for a long time, so don't worry, Knight Sorrow said. 13th uncle, where are you going? Do you need our help? Tang Tian asked. There's no need for that. I'll be leaving first. Be careful when you're doing your quests. Knight Sorrow got on the beast carriage and headed out of the city. 7th senior brother, isn't 13th uncle not doing any missions? Is he thinking of taking action after sitting still for so long? Chu Ning asked. Dao only 9 original $1, everyone else is a pirated copy. Among the first 3 generations of the Taishan Peak, the ranking was based on age. Regardless of the age of the master, Nangong Dai was the oldest, so she was the eldest senior sister. Tang Tian was the 7th, so Chu Ning had to call him 7th senior brother. Who knows? Let's go turn in our quests, then have a drink before heading back. Tang Tian led the way into Tianji Tower. After buying a few containers to store the golden leopard's blood, Knight Sorrow left Danding City. After leaving Danding City, Knight Sorrow got on Tianyu's back and told him the direction. Tianyu flew high up in the sky, then he sat cross-legged on Tianyu's back, close to his neck, and began to meditate. It was close to 30,000 miles. Even if Tianyu's speed was fast, it would still take him a few days. During this time, Knight Sorrow would not give up on cultivating. Letting Tianyu fly high up in the sky was to avoid being attacked by demonic beasts in the wilderness. After Tianyu advanced, his speed was much faster. In just one day, he could fly 6,000 to 7,000 miles. When the sky darkened, Knight Sorrow found a small town. He decided to settle down in this small town that was not shown on the map. After booking a room at the only inn in the town, Knight Sorrow arranged for the attendants to roast a few wild boars for Tianyu. After feeding Tianyu, Knight Sorrow left the inn. He planned to buy some more wine to store. It was hard to say if there was a place to restock on the way. Bringing water would spoil, so bringing wine was the best. After buying a few jars of strong wine from a tavern, Knight Sorrow heard the sound of iron being forged on the way back to the inn. He lifted his feet and walked over. It was a shabby blacksmith shop. A bare-chested big man was forging a hunting fork. This was a weapon commonly used by hunters. It was a weapon that could tear apart the skin of wild beasts. What attracted Knight Sorrow's attention was the 20 or so short spears placed on the side. Each spear was as thick as a baby's arm. The spear shaft was 3 feet long, and the tip was a foot long. The short spear's forging was based on the short spear. "Uncle, how much are these short spears?" Knight Sorrow asked. "These are custom-made for an adult. Ordinary people can't use them." The middle-aged man stopped his work and wiped the sweat off his face. Knight Sorrow reached out and picked one up. Holding it in his hand, Knight Sorrow felt that the short spear was very heavy. It was estimated that this short spear weighed 300 pounds. Ordinary hunters would find it difficult to throw it, let alone have any lethality. However, he liked it very much. With such a sharp weapon and his strength, its power would be amazing. "Little brother, can you use it?" Seeing Knight Sorrow twirling the short spear in his hand nimbly, the middle-aged man was a little shocked. "I like it very much. Unfortunately, uncle, this is custom-made for someone else." Knight Sorrow nodded with a smile. "That tree over there, try shooting it. If this short spear is powerful in your hands, I can let you have a few." The middle-aged man said to Knight Sorrow. Yi Shang waved his hand, and the tip of the short spear in his hand flashed with a bright light. He shot it towards the ancient tree more than 200 meters away. Puff! The short spear hit the tree and made a muffled sound. Then, it disappeared. The middle-aged man walked out of the blacksmith shop and dragged his tattered leather shoes towards the ancient tree. Knight Sorrow followed him. The short spear that Yi Shang had thrown out made a hole the size of a bowl. It was a transparent hole. "Where's the short spear?" The middle-aged man walked around the tree and looked through the hole in the tree. Knight Sorrow left the ancient tree and walked forward for another 20 feet. He pulled out the short spear that was half a foot away from a stone wall. Seeing Knight Sorrow's actions, the middle-aged man's eyes were filled with surprise. What a powerful weapon! Knight Sorrow found that the short spear that had pierced through the ancient tree and into the stone wall was not damaged at all. "Who the hell wants to destroy my bear's den?" Following a shout, a woman with big arms and a round waist came out with a big wooden stick. "Sister Luo, don't be angry. I accidentally touched it. I'll take care of it for you tomorrow," the middle-aged man said with a smile. Yi Chang's spear had pierced a hole in the stone wall. Cracks appeared all around the hole, and the damage was quite severe. Chapter 106. Little brother, what are you doing? You were brought here by the smelly blacksmith. If there's a problem, he can deal with it. I can't accept the money. Sister Luo shook her head and said. Sister-in-law, how can you do that? I have to take responsibility for my mistakes. Knight Sorrow shook his head. This was his business. He couldn't let the blacksmith take the blame. Well, that's how it is in our town. Sister Luo, don't worry. I'll fix it for you tomorrow. The blacksmith said with a smile. Since you have a good attitude, I don't need you anymore. You really make me worry. Sister Luo took the big wooden stick and went home. That's how it is in our town. The blacksmith said with a smile. Our village is similar to here. When I was a child, I was naughty and was chased by the aunties in the village with sticks. Even if they caught me, they wouldn't really beat me. Knight Sorrow missed Juyuan village. That lord left behind the materials. He only ordered 6 spears. The rest of the materials can be considered as a crafting fee. I'll sell the extra short spears to you. You just have to pay me for the materials, the blacksmith said after returning to the blacksmith shop. I understand. Knight Sorrow took out 500 taels of gold and handed it to the blacksmith. This was half of the gold he had. The blacksmith took 2 and pushed the rest back to Knight Sorrow. Although the material of this spear is precious and can't be made elsewhere, I'll compensate you a little since you hit it off. Uncle, is this short spear difficult to make? Knight Sorrow asked in surprise. I'm not boasting, but this short spear is made with the spiral 100-fold forging method. The material of a long spear was used to make this short spear, so the quality and hardness of the short spear are relatively high. I used to make weapons in the exclusive blacksmith pavilion in Baishan City. However, because I'm old, my chi and blood are weak. My body can't take it anymore, so I returned to my hometown. The blacksmith took out a jar of wine and poured a bowl for Knight Sorrow. So that's how it is. Knight Sorrow understood that this blacksmith was not a simple person. Otherwise, he would not have been able to forge such a ferocious short spear. The blacksmith walked over to the short spears and waved to Knight Sorrow. Come, don't touch these 6 spears. Leave 2 for me as a treasure. These 12 are yours. Knight Sorrow hesitated. There was no way he could take it. The 200 taels of gold was the compensation for the materials used to make it, but he couldn't let the blacksmith uncle work for nothing. After pondering for a moment, Knight Sorrow took out a bottle of blood essence pills. Uncle, I know it's not appropriate to take gold notes. Also, you won't accept them. But these are blood essence pills. They can replenish the blood in your body. Please accept them. Knight Sorrow handed the blood essence pills to the blacksmith. Ha! You're an interesting lad. Could it be that your strength comes from eating this thing? I'll take this pill. There's no exchange. I hope that the weapons I forge can find suitable owners. The blacksmith put away the blood essence pill and said with a smile. Only then did Knight Sorrow put the short spear into his storage ring. Come and drink. The blacksmith uncle was very happy. Uncle, why don't you try the wine I brought? Knight Sorrow took out the 100 herbs wine that Aoi gave him. It wasn't that he didn't want to use the azure blood wine, but the azure blood wine was too strong. Ha! Good wine. After drinking a bowl of 100 herbs wine, the blacksmith excitedly smacked his lips. Come and drink. Knight Sorrow poured another bowl for the blacksmith. After drinking half a jar of 100 herbs wine, the blacksmith became drunk. After covering half a jar of wine, Yishang got up and covered the blacksmith with his coat. He took out a jar of 100 herbs wine and placed it on the table. Then, he placed 10 low-grade spirit stones beside the wine jar before leaving. He was afraid that the person who ordered the weapon would be dissatisfied with the blacksmith and cause trouble for him, so he left the spirit stones behind. After returning to the inn, Knight Sorrow wiped the 12 short spears. He really liked them. When he was hunting in Bamboo Garden Village, he often threw the black iron spears to kill demon beasts. Now that he had 12 short spears, he believed that his long-range combat ability would be improved. While wiping the short spears, Knight Sorrow found that there were some words on the short spears. On the handle, there were 3 words, sky-piercing spear. He felt that this name was very suitable for the short spears. When the sky was slightly bright, Knight Sorrow rode Tianyu and left. The blacksmith woke up and stretched his body. His robe slipped off and he found that he had slept the whole night. Very interesting little guy. That flying demon beast is not simple. He got 12 sky-piercing spears, but the wine is good. The blacksmith said to himself. Then, he saw the wine and spirit stones that Knight Sorrow left behind. The blacksmith took a deep breath and stood up. It was as if he was a different person. Smelly blacksmith, who was that kid yesterday? The tough sister Luo appeared. Amazing kid. The sky-piercing spears are very suitable for him. I gave him 12 spears. Come and taste the wine that kid left behind. It is very good. The blacksmith opened the half jar of 100 herbs wine and poured a bowl for Sister Luo. Damn bastard. We went to many cities. You went to the blacksmith pavilion to work and collect materials to make weapons. You gave it away just for a jar of wine. Sister Luo held the bowl and scolded the blacksmith. Then, she drank the wine in one gulp. How is it? The wine is good, right? He gave me some gold notes and left me an extra jar of wine. He also gave me some pills. After he left, he didn't say anything and left behind some spirit stones. What a kind kid. I like it. The blacksmith said with a smile. Indeed, he doesn't know how difficult it is to make the sky-piercing spear. If it were an ordinary weapon, the price he paid would be more than enough. Unfortunately, in terms of value, it's nothing compared to the sky-piercing spear. Sister Luo shook her head and said, 6 sky-piercing spears are enough for us. Now, we have 8 left. Just give him the rest. Let's make the best use of them. The blacksmith said after drinking a bowl of wine. $, that kid left long ago. When will we leave? We have been here for more than 10 years. The people outside might have forgotten about us. Sister Luo said. Pack up. Once third bro returns, we'll leave. With this heaven-piercing spear, killing that evil WIRM won't be a problem. We've waited too long for this day, the blacksmith said after taking a deep breath. Sitting cross-legged on Tianyu's back, Knight Sorrow worked hard to cultivate the myriad Tao scripture and true energy. As for Tianyu, Knight Sorrow did not have to worry. Tianyu was intelligent and would not lose his way. Tianyu, let's start looking for prey. Then, we will set up camp and rest. Looking at the sky, Knight Sorrow said to Tianyu, who was below him. Tianyu could travel at night, but Knight Sorrow did not want him to. He did not want Tianyu to work too hard. He still needed to rest at night. Half an hour later, Tianyu, who was flying at a low altitude, found his prey. It was a huge python with green scales that was as thick as a bucket. It was coiled around an ancient tree. Chapter 107. With a black light, the sky-piercing spear shot directly on the head of the giant python, nailing it to the trunk. The giant python shook its body, shook its head, and its head slipped from the handle of the sky-piercing spear, then its whole body fell to the ground and twisted together. It was an unconscious struggle. The sky-piercing spear shot by Knight Sorrow had already pierced its head and destroyed its brain. Controlling Tianyu to land, Knight Sorrow pulled out the sky-piercing spear. He thought he had to wipe it, but when he held the sky-piercing spear in his hand, Knight Sorrow found that the sky-piercing spear was clean without a drop of blood. After finding some dry wood, Knight Sorrow lit the fire, and then went to deal with the still twisting body of the python. First, he fed the python's gallbladder to Tianyu, then he skinned the python's body, and then roasted it with an iron stick. Watching Knight Sorrow roasting the python, Tianyu stayed beside Knight Sorrow, rubbing his head against Knight Sorrow's body from time to time. Tianyu has grown a lot and his cultivation base has improved a lot, but he is very attached to Knight Sorrow. When he was in the Longquan courtyard, Knight Sorrow went to accompany him every day and went to see him, which was the happiest time for him. Knight Sorrow turned over the python meat with one hand and stroked the feathers on Tianyu's neck with the other, a very harmonious picture. When the python meat was ready, Knight Sorrow cut it into pieces with a knife and fed it to Tianyu, and he ate it slowly. Knight Sorrow also opened a jar of wine for Tianyu. After eating and feeding Tianyu, Knight Sorrow ate half of a spirit congealing pill and a blood essence pill and began to meditate. What Knight Sorrow needed the most was time. If he had time to cultivate, he would definitely not let it go. In the past, Knight Sorrow didn't consume medicinal pills to cultivate. He was afraid that the medicinal pills wouldn't be completely refined and would leave behind poison in his body. Now that his Jinqi had entered the element-gathering tier and the myriad Dao tome had entered the tendon-strengthening tier, his body and Jinqi's ability to refine and absorb had increased. Half a core solidifying pill and a blood essence pill were completely absorbed by him in one night. After cultivating for an entire night, he woke up and practiced the Windchaser's spear art for a while to loosen his muscles and bones. Only then did Night's sorrow leave on Tianyu. Tianyu's appetite was astonishing. It needed to absorb the energy in the flesh and blood of demonic beasts to increase its strength. It ate a lot every meal, but only one meal a day was enough. Sitting on Tianyu's back, Night's sorrow was also meditating and cultivating. It was just that he didn't use any medicinal pills. He was purely absorbing the spiritual energy between heaven and earth. It took Night's sorrow 4 days to arrive at the Qingshui marsh. It was the territory of the Qingshui sect, a force under the jurisdiction of the Medicine Valley. The Qingshui sect was a force under the jurisdiction of the Medicine Valley. Every year, it would hand in resources to the Medicine Valley. It was the strongest force in this area. Last time, it had to cross the Medicine Valley to participate in the Golden Flame sect's decennial power meeting, but it was stopped by the Medicine Valley. Look at the main and edition Chapter 1, in their own area, the Medicine Valley wouldn't allow the Qingshui sect to do that. If the Qingshui sect directly interacted with the Golden Flame sect, it would be like a nail being hammered in the heart of the Medicine Valley. Therefore, the relationship between the two parties was quite tense. Due to the strength of the Medicine Valley and the inheritance of alchemy in the Medicine Valley, the Qingshui sect didn't dare to act recklessly because many powerful practitioners and sects had a good relationship with the Medicine Valley. After arriving at the Qingshui marsh, Night's sorrow and Tianyu rested for a night. The next day, they began to look for the golden silk leopard. The adult golden silk leopard was at the 3rd level. Its blood was very precious. Even if it wasn't used for alchemy, its blood could be used to strengthen the muscles and bones by soaking the body with medicinal herbs. The golden silk leopard was also very rare. Otherwise, Night's sorrow wouldn't have traveled nearly 30,000 miles to Qingshui marsh. The Qingshui marsh covered an area of 3,000 to 4,000 miles. There were swamps and ponds among the trees and in the valley. There were also many poisonous snakes and insects, so it was very dangerous. Tianyu couldn't adapt to flying at a slow speed. Night's sorrow let Tianyu hover in the air while he walked among the ancient trees. When he was tired, he drank some wine and rested for a while. After that, Night's sorrow continued his search. 2 days passed. Night's sorrow killed many demonic beasts and found many rare medicinal herbs. However, he still didn't find any golden silk leopards. Although he didn't find any, Night's sorrow didn't lose his confidence. He knew that the information from Tianji Tower was absolutely accurate. If they said that there were golden silk leopards here, then there must be one. On the 3rd day, they still couldn't find any. Night's sorrow hunted a brown bear and cooked it for Tianyu. After Tianyu finished eating, Night's sorrow brought him to drink some water. Suddenly, Tianyu flapped his wings and turned to look in another direction. He even let out a cry at Night's sorrow. Night's sorrow's body tensed up. He felt a dangerous aura. It was just an intuition. Following Tianyu's gaze, Night's sorrow found the source of the danger. 2 golden silk leopards appeared in his field of vision. Night's sorrow couldn't see the cultivation level of the golden silk leopards. However, he knew that they weren't simple. The golden silk leopards were much bigger than ordinary leopards. Even a tamed lion wouldn't be as big as them. Tianyu, help me block one of them. Don't fight them head-on. Pay attention to your safety. If you can't handle it, fly away. Night's sorrow instructed Tianyu. With a stomp of his feet, he rushed to the right. Night's sorrow's stomp contained a force of several thousand jin. The stone under his feet was smashed into pieces. Night Sorrow's body also rushed out. As he rushed forward, Night Sorrow took out his reincarnation spear and aimed it at the head of the golden silk leopard. When Night Sorrow attacked, Tianyu also moved. He spread his wings and soared 3 to 4 zhang into the air. He pounced towards the other golden silk leopard. His 2 sharp claws were his sharp weapons. His target was the head of the golden silk leopard. Seeing Night Sorrow's attack, the golden silk leopard on the right leaped up. It dodged Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear and pounced towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow used the dragon leap steps and dodged the attack of the male golden silk leopard. He dodged to the side of the golden silk leopard and swung his arms. The reincarnation spear smashed down. How did he know that the golden silk leopard was male? Because when it pounced, Night Sorrow saw its obvious male characteristics. Night Sorrow still underestimated the golden silk leopard. The golden silk leopard swung its body and easily dodged Night Sorrow's attack. It roared angrily and once again pounced towards Night Sorrow. In its eyes, Night Sorrow's cultivation level of the 2nd level of element gathering tier was insignificant. Seeing Night Sorrow continuously attack it with his spear, the golden silk leopard felt provoked. Night Sorrow used the dragon leap steps and once again dodged the golden silk leopard's attack. However, it was very dangerous this time. The robe on Night Sorrow's shoulder was torn by the male golden silk leopard. This caused Night Sorrow to be extremely shocked. Fortunately, he had practiced the dragon leap steps previously. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to dodge the golden silk leopard's attack and would have long since become its food. Night Sorrow could still dodge, but his attacks all missed. This golden silk leopard's speed was too fast. Without any other choice, Night Sorrow took out the sky-piercing spear. Chapter 108. The golden silk leopard's speed was too fast. After the first attack, it immediately turned around and attacked again, giving Night Sorrow no chance to attack. After the golden silk leopard attacked again, Night Sorrow rushed in the opposite direction to increase the distance between them. He then turned around and threw out the sky-piercing spear with his left hand. The sky-piercing spear rushed towards the golden silk leopard with a black light. The golden silk leopard paused and roared. Its left front paw slapped towards the sky-piercing spear. Bang! T% positive. W Edition 7 first released the sky-piercing spear was sent flying by the golden silk leopard's left front paw. It flew for more than 10 zhang and stabbed into an ancient tree. Its tail was shaking non-stop. Similarly, the golden silk leopard's left front paw was also cut by the sky-piercing spear and its bones were shattered. After being injured, the golden silk leopard's speed decreased. The difference between jumping with 3 legs and jumping with 4 legs was huge. It was not as simple as losing 1 leg. It lost its balance. Seizing the opportunity, Night Sorrow jumped up and stabbed the reincarnation spear towards the head of the male golden silk leopard. Roar! With a furious roar, the golden silk leopard's right front paw slapped towards the reincarnation spear. The true chi in Night Sorrow's dantian exploded, and all 36 vibrating forces were poured into the spear. He then continued to stab forward. He did not have the extra energy to watch the battle between Tianyu and the other golden silk leopard. Only by killing this golden silk leopard would he have the chance to help Tianyu. Bang! The golden silk leopard's right front paw slapped onto the reincarnation spear, but it was shaken off. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was shaken off by half a foot. Night Sorrow exerted all his strength and continued to stab forward. If he could not stab the head, then he would stab the mouth. Puchi! The reincarnation spear stabbed into the golden silk leopard's upper and lower jaw. Night Sorrow took a step forward and kicked with his left leg, bending the golden silk leopard's right front paw that was supporting its body. He then stomped on the golden silk leopard's front paw and shook his arms. He wanted to use the reincarnation spear to crush the golden silk leopard's mouth. This male golden silk leopard suffered a fatal attack. Its front paws were not strenuous, and its hind legs kicked forward and bent backwards. It tried to escape from Night Sorrow's attack. Yishan's hands moved forcefully, and his left foot stepped firmly on the golden silk leopard's right front paw. The golden silk leopard's body slid, and slid. Spear, 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 spear. Spear, spear with the reincarnation spear with the reincarnation spear with the spear. Was penetrated the spear pierced through the body. After its head was pierced, the golden silk leopard stopped moving. Night. Tian Yu's sharp claws gripped the back and neck of another golden silk leopard tightly. She pecked into the mouth of the female golden silk leopard that was trying to bite back, making it unable to close its mouth. Night Sorrow pulled out the reincarnation spear and put the male golden silk leopard's corpse into his storage ring. Once a demonic beast died, its blood would quickly coagulate. Most of the essence in its blood would be lost. Although he couldn't control the coagulation of the blood by putting it into his storage ring, he could delay it for a period of time. Night Sorrow retrieved the sky-piercing spear that was sent flying by the male golden silk leopard. He carried the reincarnation spear and went to Tianyu's side. He waved the reincarnation spear and pierced it into the female golden silk leopard's neck. He then shook the spear twice and cut off the female golden silk leopard's neck tendons. This removed the threat of its mouth to Tianyu. He didn't want to make a big wound and let the blood flow out. Young sect master, come quickly. It's here. The white flying demonic beast is here. A few men walked out of the forest. A middle-aged man walked out of the forest with a few young men. Shortly after, a flying demonic beast appeared and landed. It was a green-winged eagle. It was the same green-winged eagle that Night Sorrow met on his way to Danding City from Red Flame City. Golden silk leopard, ah. It's so easy to get one. A young man wearing a brocade robe floated down from the back of the green-winged eagle. Kid, you have a good life, but your luck isn't that good. I want this golden silk leopard and that flying demonic beast. The young man wearing the brocade robe walked over and stopped 10 meters away from Night Sorrow. The others followed behind him. Who are you people? Night Sorrow could tell that this group of people didn't come with good intentions. They wanted to rob him without asking any questions. Where did this hothead come from? I'm Miao Xiaoyun. You should have heard of me, right? Get out of my way, or I'll break your limbs and make you beg for death. Then, I'll feed you with poisonous snakes and insects for a few days. Miao Xiaoyun pointed at Night Sorrow with a sinister smile on his face. Night Sorrow's mind was spinning rapidly. He was definitely not a match for these people, especially that middle-aged man. It was hard to say how strong he was, but he might be able to compete with his senior brothers and sisters. However, he couldn't run away either. The other party had a flying demonic beast. Night Sorrow didn't know the cultivation level of the green-winged eagle and how fast it was. He didn't know if it was faster than Tianyu. You have to be reasonable. I killed the golden silk leopard. You guys came and tried to rob me. Isn't that unreasonable? Night Sorrow said. He knew that it was useless to reason with these people. He wanted to wait until the golden silk leopard under Tianyu's claws died so that he could keep it. Living things couldn't be kept in storage rings. You're too naive. The weak are prey to the strong. This is the rule of the Greenwater Marsh. This is the rule of the Great Desolate. Do you understand now? Miao Xiaoyun took 2 steps forward and sneered. Night Sorrow took 2 steps back and stood beside Tianyu. He was waiting for an opportunity to put the golden silk leopard into his storage ring. It wasn't that Night Sorrow was greedy, He had no other choice. The myriad Dao scripture required a lot of energy to reach the third stage of the bone-tempering realm from the second stage of the muscle-strengthening realm. The leopard muscle-strengthening pill was the best supplementary pill. Night Sorrow didn't even know if the blood of 2 golden silk leopards was enough. How could he leave one behind? When Night Sorrow retreated to Tianyu's side, Tianyu got off the golden silk leopard's body. The golden silk leopard was already dead. With a wave of his arm, Night Sorrow put the golden silk leopard into his storage ring. Next, he shook his reincarnation spear and charged towards Miao Xiaojun. He knew that Miao Xiaojun was the key. Young sect master, be careful. His blood and qi are very vigorous. The middle-aged man reminded Miao Xiaojun. You don't have to worry about him. Watch how I kill him. Miao Xiaojun waved his left hand behind him, telling the people near him to retreat. Then, he waved his long sword with his right hand and slashed towards Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Night Sorrow transferred the energy in his body to the tip of the reincarnation spear. The true qi in his dantian released vibrating energy and transmitted it into the reincarnation spear. He then continued to stab towards Miao Xiaojun. Ding! With a crisp sound, Miao Xiaojun's unprepared weapon was shaken off. Even his arm was shaken off. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was also shaken off by 2 qi. Chapter 109. When Night Sorrow shouted, the middle-aged man rushed over and threw a punch at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't have enough time to retreat. He thrust his reincarnation spear to the side and used Shinyu hand. Bang! Night Sorrow was sent flying by the middle-aged man. He felt a sharp pain in his arm. He knew that his right arm was broken and the bones in his hand were also shattered. After landing, Night Sorrow exerted strength from his waist and jumped up. He threw the sky-piercing spear in his left hand towards the green-winged eagle. He then picked up the reincarnation spear and ran forward. The sky-piercing spear quickly flew out and pierced through the green-winged eagle's neck. It then shot into a huge rock far away and shattered it. Night Sorrow was in a hurry and didn't add any vibrations. Otherwise, the green-winged eagle's neck wouldn't have been pierced, but shattered. Night Sorrow's current situation was very critical. A few men rushed towards him. Fortunately, the middle-aged man was carrying Miao Xiaojun and treating his injuries. Night Sorrow relied on dragon leap steps to dodge their attacks and continued to rush forward. Tianyu followed behind Night Sorrow. He spread his wings and glided forward, slapping at the people surrounding Night Sorrow. This was also the main reason why Night Sorrow was able to rush out of the encirclement. With Tianyu's help, Night Sorrow rushed out of the encirclement and rushed towards the pile of rocks. He picked up the sky-piercing spear and inserted it into his waist. He then continued to rush forward. Tianyu, fly! Quick! Tianyu heard Night Sorrow's words and took off with a flap of his wings. Night Sorrow's feet shook and his body rushed into the air. His left hand grabbed onto Tianyu's sharp claws. Hiss! Night Sorrow's waist was pierced by a long sword that was thrown out. Tianyu's claws were also cut by a battle blade. Fortunately, Tianyu successfully took off. Tianyu quickly rose 7 to 8 zhang and avoided the range of the projectile weapons. He used his claws to throw Night Sorrow up. He then lowered his body to catch Night Sorrow and quickly flew away. Ah! Night Sorrow growled. It was too painful. Tianyu's actions were too intense. Night Sorrow's right arm was broken. How could this not be painful? Furthermore, there was a long sword pierced through his waist. Brat, no matter where you run to, Yao Wanli will cut you into 10,000 pieces. The middle-aged man holding Miao Xiaojun roared. At the same time, he carried Miao Xiaojun onto the back of the green-winged eagle and chased after Yishan. The speed of this green-winged eagle was very fast. Its level had already surpassed that of the one Night Sorrow had met before. Fortunately, the speed of this green-winged eagle was almost the same as that of Tianyu. The distance between them was not shortened. Night Sorrow was not worried. He had thought of this before he took off with Tianyu. Therefore, he shot the sky-piercing spear at the green-winged eagle. If it were not for the smooth escape, Night Sorrow's sky-piercing spear could have killed Miao Xiaojun. After 300 to 400 li, the speed of the green-winged eagle decreased. The wound on its neck kept bleeding, which had consumed a lot of its strength. It was useless no matter how much the middle-aged man, Yao Wanli, urged it. Yao Wanli was very angry. He was the protector of the Green Water sect. This time, he accompanied the young master to gain experience and look for the golden silk leopard. In the process of looking for the golden silk leopard, they saw a flying demonic beast flying in the air. That was Tianyu. Yao Wanli could not chase after him by flying. His flying demonic beast's level was too low to catch up with Tianyu. Besides, the green-winged eagle belonged to Miao Xiaojun. They followed Tianyu's flight path and chased after him, hoping to find Tianyu's nest. The only original version of #L was a pirated version. When Yao Wanli led the disciples of the Green Water sect to Tianyu, they saw Night Sorrow hunting the golden silk leopard. They thought it was a happy event, but what happened just now happened. Yao Wanli only needed a chance for the green-winged eagle to get close to Tianyu. Then he could fly over. He could fly for a short time with the cultivation of the 4th level of the spirit-severing realm. However, the green-winged eagle used all its speed and even stimulated its life potential, but it was still useless. It watched Tianyu fly away little by little. Seeing the green-winged eagle turn into a black spot and disappear, Night Sorrow breathed a sigh of relief. He moved his left hand to his back and pulled out the long sword stuck in his waist. Night Sorrow was hit by the sword with a strong force. If it were not for Night Sorrow's strong body and the muscles in his waist diverted some of the force, the sword would have pierced through Night Sorrow. Even so, the sword was still stuck in half a foot. Gritting his teeth, Night Sorrow pulled the long sword out of his body little by little. Night Sorrow's face turned pale. The long sword was pulled out against his ribs, which was very painful. Enduring the pain, Night Sorrow took out the wine, washed the wound with one hand strenuously, and applied medicine. After treating the wound on his waist, Night Sorrow checked the injury on his right hand. After checking, Night Sorrow smiled bitterly. All the bones in his hand were shattered, and his forearm was broken into 2. It would take some time to recover. After flying for a while, Night Sorrow let Tianyu land. When he escaped, he found that Tianyu's claw was also injured by a war blade. He had to check it and collect the blood of the golden silk leopard. After Tianyu landed, Night Sorrow found that Tianyu's injury was not serious. On his right claw, there was a 3-inch deep and half a foot long wound. At this time, it was not bleeding, but Night Sorrow was very distressed. In Night Sorrow's heart, Tianyu was not a tamed beast, but a partner. A partner that he could rely on in life and death. If it was not for Tianyu today, he would have died. Night Sorrow was very clear about the situation today. Even if he had handed over the golden silk leopard, Miao Xiaojun would not have let him go. This was also the reason why he had been so ruthless. Night Sorrow applied medicine on Tianyu's wound, tore a piece of underwear, and bandaged Tianyu's wound. Then, he fed Tianyu some wine. After that, he took out the golden silk leopard's corpse from his storage ring. The blood of the golden silk leopard's heart was stored in a jade bottle, and the normal blood was stored in 2 jade jars. Then, he added some 3-leaf clover. The 3-leaf clover was a low-grade material that was not useful for alchemy, but it could prevent the blood from coagulating. This was something that Night Sorrow had prepared beforehand. After dealing with Tianyu's injury and the matter of the golden silk leopard's blood, Knight Sorrow made a splint for his right hand. Then, he rode Tianyu and took off. Fortunately, Knight Sorrow and Tianyu had eaten before the battle, so it was not a problem for them to travel quickly. Knowing that this was the territory of the Green Water sect, Knight Sorrow did not stop to rest at night. He rode Tianyu for thousands of miles and landed to rest at dawn. Tianyu was in good condition after flying for a whole night. His injury had also recovered. This was the strength of a strange beast. Although his arm was inconvenient, Knight Sorrow still made roast meat for Tianyu. Then, he rested for 4 hours before setting off. Knight Sorrow stayed on Tianyu's back and practiced the Myriad Tao Bible and the Holy Cauldron scripture. This time, his arm did not recover as quickly as last time. First, his arm was completely broken. Secondly, he did not have the meridian-clearing elixir. Fortunately, the Myriad Tao Bible had advanced to the muscle-strengthening level. The energy kept rushing to his right hand, so it recovered much faster than ordinary people. Because of his injury, he could not fight. Knight Sorrow and Tianyu traveled at full speed, regardless of whether it was day or night. However, Knight Sorrow cared about Tianyu, so he let Tianyu rest when it was almost time. Chapter 110. After entering the courtyard, Knight Sorrow patted Tianyu's body and said, "Go and have a rest. You've worked hard these days. I'll make something delicious for you in the afternoon." Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. After chirping at Knight Sorrow, Tianyu glided at a low altitude and went to his usual resting place. "Master, you're back. What happened to your hand?" Little Six, who was strolling in the courtyard, saw Knight Sorrow. "Go and buy some demonic beasts to feed Tianyu later. Buy some meat with more energy and a larger amount. Take these and exchange them for gold notes," Yi Shang said to Little Six. Then, he gave the gold and jewels he had obtained from Huang Jun to Little Six. 13. What happened to you? Who hurt you like this? Yang Lei and Aoi appeared. Yang Lei's face was cold and murderous. Aoi didn't look good either. Knight Sorrow was their youngest junior brother and their favorite. Now that Knight Sorrow was in such a miserable state, how could they not be angry? "Well, there was an accident." "It's nothing. Senior sister, who has meridian unblocking elixir?" "Give me 2 first," Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Aoi quickly took out 2 meridian unblocking elixir and gave it to Knight Sorrow. "Tell me, who hurt you like this?" "It's the people from the Qingshui sect. I went to the Qingshui swamp and went to their territory. After I killed the golden silk leopard, they wanted to rob me, so a fight broke out," Yi Shang said as he walked towards the hall. "Green Water sect, I'll help you vent your anger. But you have to report to Master and ask for the person who hurt you." "Do you know the name of the person who hurt you?" Yang Lei's face was still cold. "There's no need to vent your anger. If we go to their door, they won't let it go. I chopped off their young sect master's arm, and then I was punched by someone called Yawanli. My arm was broken," Yi Shan said with a smile. "Yawanli. That bastard, as the Dharma protector of the Qingshui sect, he dared to attack you with his cultivation at stage 4. If I meet him again, I will definitely kill him," Yang Lei said with hatred. "You still have injuries on your lower back." Aoi sized up Knight Sorrow and found that Knight Sorrow's true chi and blood chi were not flowing smoothly. "Yes, when I was running, I was hit by a sword from behind." Yi Shang touched his back and said with a smile. Still laughing. "Do you know that the opponent is at the spirit severing stage? If you run a little slower, you will die." Yang Lei stretched out her hand and slapped the back of Knight Sorrow's head. "9th junior sister, be gentle. 13 is injured." 13. Tell 6th senior sister what happened. How did you escape? Aoi stopped Yang Lei, who was about to violently teach Night Sorrow a lesson. Night Sorrow told her what happened. To be able to kill 2 golden silk leopards and escape from a group led by a rank 4 cultivator, it is indeed rare. A single mistake would have resulted in death. 13. Your combat experience is quite good. Qing Ji said. By the way, I haven't told you that I brought you the gallbladder of the black and white python and the green radish grass. The price is 3 of them. I won't give you the energy gathering pill. But don't worry, we have the energy gathering pill in stock at Taishan Peak. Yang Lei said. I don't need the energy gathering pill. I just need the materials. Senior sister, you go ahead. I will heal myself. Night Sorrow said to Yang Lei and Aoi. Aoi nodded to Night Sorrow, go ahead. After Night Sorrow went to the 2nd floor, he took the meridian unblocking pill and began to cultivate. The sooner he recovered, the better. Otherwise, the blood vessels would be blocked. Night Sorrow had been controlling the energy in his body for the past few days. He tried to prevent the blood vessels from being blocked while he healed. The recovery was slow. With the help of the meridian unblocking pill, it would be much better. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, Aoi and Yang Lei were sitting in the hall. Mo Chen and Chu Lingfei heard the noise and came over. Yang Lei told them about Night Sorrow's injury. Then, she looked at Mo Chen. 11. I plan to report to Master first and then go to Qingshui Marsh to kill. 9th junior sister, you can't do that. 13 broke the arm of the young lord of Qingshui sect. We didn't lose anything. If we fight, it will be a full-scale war. Master is still competing with Su Chenbai. It's not a good time to make a big move. Aoi stopped Yang Lei. So, we just put up with it. It's the same as what happened to 12. But 13 is smart and adaptable. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Yang Lei still didn't want to put up with it. We have to take revenge. I think we should get through this first. If Taishan Peak starts a full-scale war with Qingshui Marsh, the sect will take action. But it will also affect Master's plan. Mo Chen thought for a while and said. Yao Wanli, I'll skin him sooner or later. Yang Lei said with hatred. You don't have to skin him. Do you think Miao Shui won't let him go if he fails to protect the sect? Aoi sneered. Night Sorrow was meditating and cultivating. He mainly focused on the Myriad Tao Bible to heal his injuries. He cultivated for a day and a night. He didn't walk out of the room until the next morning. His injuries were much better. After all, the meridian unblocking pill was an upper-grade healing medicine. 13, you're out. Is it convenient for you to wash up? Aoi asked when she saw Night Sorrow in the hall. It's okay. I can't use my right hand for now. It's just a small problem. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Yang Lei also came. First, she apologized for not being able to stand up for Night Sorrow immediately. She also explained the reason. 9th senior sister, don't stand up for them. They are the ones who suffered losses. I'll recover in a few days. Night Sorrow shook his head and said. Although Night Sorrow didn't need help, Aoi and Yang Lei still helped Night Sorrow wash up. Then, they went to eat breakfast together. After eating, Night Sorrow went to the martial arts field and took out the golden silk leopard's corpse. Little 6, after skinning them, feed them to Tianyu. Don't. 13, you can't be so wasteful. The golden silk leopard's blood is the most precious, but its bones are also good stuff. Although it can't be refined into an elixir comparable to the dragon bone pill, it can still be refined into a body refining pill. It's also a good elixir that can increase blood qi. It can also be used to brew wine. Aoi quickly stopped Night Sorrow. The body refining pill's effect isn't that good. Night Sorrow only knew about the body refining pill. It wasn't even as good as his blood essence pill. It's still a good elixir. Yang Lei said. Okay. Little Six, take care of these 2 golden silk leopards. Leave the bones for 6th senior sister. The quality of their fur is good. Dry it and put it away. Night Sorrow said to Little Six. Little Six nodded and went to call for people. A golden silk leopard weighed 1,000 pounds. He couldn't move it by himself. Since they couldn't cultivate, Night Sorrow, Aoi, Yang Lei, Mo Qin, and Chu Lingfei chatted in the garden. You said you got a good weapon? Take it out for us to see. Yang Lei was very interested in the sky-piercing spear in Night Sorrow's mouth. Night Sorrow took out a few sky-piercing spears for everyone to see. Chapter 111. It's not just the blood evil stone. There's also black gold in the middle. Judging from the color and weight, it definitely contains a lot of black gold. Aoi also expressed her opinion. According to the 2 senior sisters' judgment, there must be sky-black iron in this short spear. Otherwise, the blood evil stone can't be forged into a weapon. The only way is to combine the 2. According to the materials we know, the short spear's value is huge. Mo Chen put down the short spear in his hand and said. 13. That blacksmith didn't tell you the truth. First, he said that he had forged weapons in Beishan City's blacksmith pavilion. Although Beishan City is much weaker than Danding City, it is still a grade 3 city. If he was the blacksmith of Beishan City's blacksmith pavilion, many shops would hire him even if his body couldn't take it anymore. He wouldn't be reduced to forging a beast fork in a small town. Aoi said. Even if this is explained by living in seclusion, this weapon isn't something an ordinary person can forge. At the very least, he knows the value of the materials. Which lord would use such precious materials to forge it? The only thing that makes sense is that this weapon is his. The lord he mentioned is himself. Yang Lei also agreed with Aoi's opinion. But I don't know him. How could he give me such precious materials? Night Sorrow clearly remembered that the blacksmith had asked for 200 gold taels. 200 gold taels was nothing in front of these materials. You must hit it off. Maybe he felt that he hit it off with you. There's no other explanation. Yang Lei said with a smile. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and felt that it could only be explained by hitting it off with him. Here, these are the materials you asked for. Yang Lei took out 2 beast skin packages from her storage ring. After opening them, Night Sorrow saw dozens of black and white twin flower pythons' gallbladders and dozens of green radish grass. Thank you for your hard work, senior sister. Night Sorrow said after putting away the materials. You don't have to be so polite with your senior sister. Yang Lei said as she patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that Yang Lei and the others were sincerely looking out for him, so there was no need for formalities. Just as the few of them were chatting, Tang Tian, Chu Ning, and the rest returned. They were all in a sorry state, and there were bloodstains on Jiang Ziming's shoulder. What happened? Yang Lei asked coldly. Following Nangong Dai's explanation, Night Sorrow and the others understood what was going on. When Chu Ning and the others went to accept the mission, they encountered Su Mu and another 9 peak disciple, and a fight broke out. New 4 fastest FD_fast_. The result of the fight was that Chu Ning and the others were at a disadvantage. In the end, when Nangong Dai and the others were about to fight with their lives on the line, Su Mu directly entered Tianji Tower and did not come out. This bastard. Yang Lei's jade-like hand slapped a corner of the stone table. It's not your fault. Go and clean up. Aoi waved at Chu Ning and the others. When my injuries are healed, I'll go and fight him. Night Sorrow said coldly. Nine Peak had always been targeting Taishan Peak, and their high-level disciples had all been beaten back by Yang Lei and the others. Now, only Su Mu was left. This made Night Sorrow very angry. He knew that this was his responsibility. It was clear that Yu Yangyu had accepted a disciple, and Su Chenbai had also accepted a disciple. The mission to deal with Su Mu was Night Sorrow's. Yang Lei and Aoi did not say anything. They knew that this was Night Sorrow's task, and it was one that he could not avoid. 13. Don't be anxious. There are less than 2 months until the rookie competition. If there's a debt, we'll settle it during the competition, Mo Chen said. 13. Sister Lingfei also thinks that you can do it, Chu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded at them and returned to his loft. If he couldn't cultivate battle skills, then he would cultivate true qi and the myriad Dao's treasured tome. Yang Lei's expression was very ugly. She wanted nothing more than to crush Su Mu to death, but it wasn't appropriate. After all, that was bullying. I'll go to Tianji Tower and check out that bastard's cultivation. I'll fight for 13. Mo Chen got up and left. After returning to the second floor, Night Sorrow ate the spirit congealing pill and blood essence pill and began cultivating. He still had the medicinal power of the meridian clearing pill in his body, so he could continue to heal. The meridian clearing pill was a healing pill. It was different from the spirit congealing pill and blood essence pill. It didn't produce pill toxins. This time, Yi Shang cultivated until there was no more medicinal power in his body before he came out. After coming out, Night Sorrow removed the splint on his arm and casually waved it. He felt that his bones were almost healed. In a few days, he could cultivate his spear. After washing up, Night Sorrow went to the practice field to cultivate the mountain suppression hand. 13. What are you doing? Your arm isn't suitable to move right now. Seeing Night Sorrow cultivate, Yang Lei tenderly shouted. Ninth senior sister, although my right hand isn't strenuous, it doesn't affect my left hand's cultivation. It should be done in 2 days. Night Sorrow moved his right arm for Yang Lei to see. Blood qi is still very smooth. Let me check. Yang Lei walked in front of Night Sorrow and grabbed Night Sorrow's right hand to check. After checking, Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow as if she was looking at a monster. Your recovery is too fast. Your bones are basically healed and your veins are unblocked. How many days has it been? It's mainly because of the meridian clearing pill's effect. Night Sorrow smiled and shook his arm. Bullshit, it's not like I haven't been injured before. I've never eaten a meridian clearing pill before. The effect of the meridian clearing pill is very good, but not to this extent. Yang Lei glared at Night Sorrow. Do you have any more meridian clearing pills? Give me a few. Night Sorrow said. He didn't hold back with Yang Lei. They were all fellow disciples. I have 2. You can have them all. I'll go get it later. I'll go get yours for you as well. The sex restrictions on meridian opening pills are quite strict. Ordinary inner sect disciples get 1 pill a year, elite disciples get 2, and disciples above the human rank get 3. If a human rank disciple wants to get more, they have to deduct other resources. At most, they can get 5 pills. Yang Lei said to Yi Shang. So that's how it is. I didn't think it was precious before. Night Sorrow scratched his head and said. The meridian opening grass is the main ingredient of the meridian opening pill. Only our sect has it. It's cultivated, so of course, it's strictly controlled. If it gets out, it will be very troublesome. Yang Lei said. Which cultivator doesn't get injured? I want to get more in case of accidents. It seems that this idea won't work. Night Sorrow had long wanted to store some healing pills, but after hearing Yang Lei's words, he knew it wouldn't work. Your situation is a bit special. I heard from Master that your treatment is at the heaven level and you have some special privileges. Isn't the Great Elder's token in your hands? Yang Lei reminded Night Sorrow. Chapter 112. Using the Great Elder's token, isn't that a bit inappropriate? Night Sorrow was a bit hesitant. Using someone else's token, to put it bluntly, was like using someone else's authority to intimidate others. You idiot, this is soft power. There are people who support you and acknowledge you. This is a kind of strength. Do you understand? Yang Lei reached out and slapped Yi Chang. All right then. When I return to the sect, I'll have to pay my respects to Master. Night Sorrow said while rubbing the back of his head. Looking at Yi Shang's appearance, Yang Lei smiled. She knew that Yi Shang was proud, but fortunately, he listened to the advice of his senior brothers and sisters. After chatting for a while, Yang Lei and Night Sorrow agreed to return to the sect tomorrow. Then, Yang Lei left, and Night Sorrow continued to practice the Jinyu hand. As his Jinqi cultivation reached the second level of element gathering tier, Night Sorrow could use the Jinyu hand twice, and still have 20% of his Jinqi left. This was because his arms were strong enough to withstand a high level of Jinqi circulation. After using the Jinyu hand, his palms could still absorb some Jinqi. After using the Jinyu hand twice, Night Sorrow thought for a while and used the chant of the Jinyu hand. He transferred the energy from the Book of 10,000 Tao to his left hand. An energy whirlpool appeared on Night Sorrow's left hand again. What was different from before was that the energy whirlpool had a faint red color. That was blood qi, which was very different from the qi whirlpool formed from Jin qi. Raising his hand, Night Sorrow slapped the fake mountain next to him. Pang! With a muffled sound, the hard fake mountain was smashed into pieces by Night Sorrow. After slapping, Night Sorrow realized another problem. The faint red energy whirlpool was still there, but it had only used 20% of its energy. Could the energy still support the attack? Night Sorrow was shocked. Before, he had considered using his body's energy to use the Jinyu hand, but at that time, his body's energy was too weak, so he didn't use it. Now that he could use it, he realized how profound it was. Circulating the energy in his body and replenishing the energy in his hand, Night Sorrow struck again. The second time, the third time, the fourth time. After 4 consecutive strikes, Night Sorrow finally ran out of energy to continue attacking. However, there was still some energy left in his flesh. Each time he used up 20% of his energy, but if he couldn't use the 5th palm strike, it would drain all of his energy. Night Sorrow couldn't do it yet, so it wouldn't do him any good. After pondering for a while, Night Sorrow discovered the reason behind it. Most of his Jinqi had been scattered by the shockwave. However, the energy in his body was highly condensed and would not disperse easily. It was as if it was more viscous than Jinqi. This unexpected reward made Night Sorrow extremely happy. Being able to use 6 Jinyu palms in a row was definitely a trump card. After calming down, Night Sorrow went to meditate and cultivate. At this time, his body and Dantian were both empty of energy. After Night Sorrow left, Little Six came in. Looking at the tattered fake mountain, he sighed, "This is really..." Sigh. His heart ached. This repair would cost a lot of money, but he had a lot of gold notes in his hands. Little Six had exchanged all of the gold and jewels that Night Sorrow had brought back for gold notes. There were over 100,000 in total, and Night Sorrow had left half for him. After cultivating for an entire night, Night Sorrow woke up early. He did some simple punching. His right arm had almost recovered, but he didn't dare to do any strenuous exercise. After eating, he and Yang Lei rode the Blue Condor and Tianyu towards Dan Ding Mountain. After evolving, Tianyu's speed had increased by a lot. He was now on par with the Blue Condor. The speed of an early Tier 3 Blue Condor and a peak Tier 3 Blue Condor are about the same. 13. Your Tianyu really isn't simple. Yang Lei said to Night Sorrow as she sat on the Blue Condor's back. I wonder when he'll reach adulthood. Night Sorrow looked at Tianyu and said. Demonic beasts are all tiered when they reach adulthood. For example, the Blue Condor is Tier 3 when it reaches adulthood. It can reach the peak of Tier 3, but it's very difficult to advance. It requires luck. The Golden Silk Leopard is also Tier 3 when it reaches adulthood. Tianyu's Tier 3 is still in the growth stage. This means that he'll be at least Tier 4 when he reaches adulthood. The more talented a demonic beast is, the longer its growth stage. Yang Lei analyzed to Night Sorrow. Yi Shang nodded. He hoped that Tianyu would continue to grow and stay in the growth phase. Half a day later, the two returned to Danding Peak. They did not go directly to the Merit Hall, but instead returned to Taishan Peak. At Repose Cliff, Night Sorrow and Yang Lei did not see Yu Yangyu. When they returned to Taishan Peak, they found out that Gong Xian was in seclusion. Yu Yangyu was worried and went to Bamboo Forest Peak. #authentic first release at Gong Xian's residence on Bamboo Forest Peak. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei saw Yu Yangyu and Gong Xian drinking. Old 913, you guys came back at the right time. I just came out of seclusion. Gong Xian said with a smile. Greetings, Master. Congratulations, Senior Apprentice Brother. Yang Lei bowed to Yu Yangyu, then congratulated Gong Xian. Yu Yangyu smiled and nodded. Gong Xian stood up happily. Thank you, Junior Apprentice Sister. I just came out of seclusion by luck. Disciple greets Master. Congratulations, Senior Apprentice Brother. Night Sorrow understood that Gong Xian had also entered the 5th stage. Both of you, have a seat. 13, you're injured. When Night Sorrow was about to sit down, Yu Yangyu frowned and asked. Master, 3rd Junior Apprentice Brother, Master, disciple accidentally broke my arm when I went to hunt a golden silk leopard. I'm fine now. Night Sorrow interrupted Yang Lei's words. He was worried that Yang Lei's impulsive personality would directly spill the beans. If that happened, Yu Yangyu would definitely be angry. He couldn't lie to Yu Yangyu, so Night Sorrow only told part of the story. That golden silk leopard was at least a 3rd stage cultivation. How could you have provoked it? Old 9, how did you keep an eye on him? Yu Yangyu glared at Yang Lei. Master, 13th Junior Brother has done a lot of missions. He has even done a bronze mission. He has killed quite a few peak stage 2 cultivators. That was why I let my guard down. I know my mistake, Yang Lei said softly. Master, this was Disciple's idea. It's not 9th Senior Apprentice Sister's fault. Night Sorrow hurriedly explained. He didn't want Yang Lei to be reprimanded because of him. Be careful in the future. Sit down and drink some tea. 13's cultivation is solid, and the blood qi in his body is getting stronger. How's your cultivation of the mountain-crushing palm? Yu Yangyu waved his hand to let Night Sorrow and Yang Lei sit down, then asked. It's good. I can use it against enemies now. Night Sorrow nodded. That's good. Why did you come back this time? Yu Yangyu took a sip of tea and asked. Disciple often trains, so injuries are inevitable. I wanted to go to the Merit Hall to get a meridian clearing pill. Senior Apprentice Sister said that I can only get 3 pills. Disciple doesn't have any merit points, so I can only use the Great Elder's token to ask for help. Night Sorrow nodded. There's no need for that. Master has a meridian clearing pill and muscle revitalization ointment. You don't have any merit points now, and even if you do have merit points, you can't use them recklessly. When you go to Danding Cliff to cultivate, you need to use them there. Yu Yangyu took out 2 bottles of pills and gave them to Night Sorrow. Chapter 113. Master, you are biased. You never gave us any before, Yang Lei whispered. Haha. Then if I don't give 13 any pills, shouldn't you think of a way to help him? In the end, aren't you the ones who have to suffer? Besides, 13 is the youngest and is my last disciple. Giving him 2 more bottles of pills shouldn't be a big deal, right? Yu Yangyu said with a smile. 9th junior sister, I'm still not satisfied. Master taught you heaven covering hand, but not me. Gong Xian looked at Yang Lei and said. Eldest senior brother, you are wrong. That's because I can cultivate. If you can cultivate, Master will definitely teach you. Yang Lei said with a pair of beautiful eyes. Yes, it's because it's suitable and necessary. 13 is the same. He needs the meridian clearing pill because he often goes out to gain experience. We rarely go out to gain experience before we reach the 3rd rank, right? Gong Xian said. What he meant was that Yu Yangyu arranged everything according to the needs of his disciples. Giving Night Sorrow the pills was also because he needed them. Unreasonable. Yang Lei despised Gong Xian. Night Sorrow found that Yu Yangyu was very easygoing with his disciples unless he was angry. The 2 of you who have the most hope of breaking through have already broken through. Master will also go into seclusion to cultivate heaven covering hand. Yu Yangyu said. Master, you haven't finished cultivating heaven covering hand. Night Sorrow asked with some surprise. Yu Yangyu shook his head and explained to Night Sorrow. After explaining, Night Sorrow found out that Yu Yangyu's heaven covering hand had reached the 5th realm. Heaven covering hand had 6 realms: mountain suppressing hand, diamond hand, cloud turning hand, essence destroying hand, earth shaking hand, and heaven covering hand. Yu Yangyu had reached the 5th stage of covering heaven hand, the earth shaking hand. However, he was stuck because of a problem with the inheritance. The covering heaven hand that Night Sorrow had found was the complete version, which solved this problem. Master, are you not going to watch the sect competition? Yang Lei asked. See. Wait till the sect sparring competition is over before you go into seclusion to meditate. This seclusion isn't going to take that long anyway. Yu Yangyu spoke up. Gong Xian asked if Night Sorrow would be participating in the sect competition. He was worried that Night Sorrow would be defeated by Su Mu. Night Sorrow's answer was resolute and decisive. He wanted to participate. 13. Are you going to stay at Taishan Peak to cultivate, or are you going to Longquan Courtyard? Yu Yangyu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow decided to go to Longquan Courtyard. It would be easier to enter a meditative state there. Yang Lei then reported on the recent conflicts between Taishan Peak and the other peaks. Most importantly, she mentioned that Su Mu specifically targeted the new disciples of Taishan Peak. He's just a brat. Let him jump around. After suffering a loss, he'll be obedient. Don't bother with him. Old 9, you take 13 with you. After hearing Yang Lei's words, Yu Yangyu didn't mind. At his level, there were very few things that could truly attract his attention. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei bowed and left Bamboo Forest Peak. Yang Lei wanted to get Night Sorrow to change his identity token, but Night Sorrow refused. Night Sorrow had the black identity token of a second-generation disciple, but he also had the treatment of a heaven-ranked disciple. He could now change to a black identity token with a rank symbol, but Night Sorrow didn't plan to change. He knew that the heaven-ranked disciple identity token didn't live up to its name. As for the resources, the Merit Hall had records that it was given out according to the heaven-ranked disciple status. After leaving Taishan Peak, the two went to Danding City to buy some daily necessities. Yang Lei also helped Night Sorrow pick out a few robes. When passing by Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow stopped in his tracks. Once upon a time, there would always be a woman warmly receiving him when he came here. Once upon a time, there would always be a woman sending him off when he came here. Night Sorrow's mind was filled with the image of Sikong Chuyu. He didn't know how Sikong Chuyu was doing now, or if he had escaped from trouble. 13. Sikong will be fine. She will definitely be waiting for you at Yunwu Mountain, Yang Lei said softly. Of course, she knew what Night Sorrow was thinking. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei nodded and left. They didn't know that on the top floor of Tianji Tower, a man in a black robe was looking at Night Sorrow. Behind him stood Enforcer Dong. Sir, this is Night Sorrow, Enforcer Dong reported. Early stage of the elemental gathering realm, exterminating 2 bandit groups, both of which were peak stage elemental gathering realm bandit leaders. Not bad. You said he took the information of the golden silk leopard and left. Was he alone? The black-robed man asked. Yes, I'm sure of that, Enforcer Dong said. Good. Send the White Feather Command to Qingshuwei City and ask the people of the Qingshuwei City branch to investigate whether the golden silk leopard was killed or not. Also, check his achievements in the Medicine Valley sect competition, the black-robed man said. I'll do it well, Enforcer Dong replied. If you can confirm these 2 things, promote him to a purple concern. Before you can confirm it, don't interfere with the people behind you. The black-robed man turned around and looked at Enforcer Dong. His voice was a little cold. He was wearing a bronze mask with a white orchid pattern under it. Enforcer Dong nodded. He knew that this man had a strong background. He was a direct subordinate of the higher-ups of Tianji Tower, which meant that he was the real core person of Tianji Tower. The black-robed man left after giving his orders. Enforcer Dong wiped his sweat. He was under a lot of pressure just now. He was a little puzzled. Tianji Tower investigated the objects with red concern. It was an outsider with a higher level. This time, it was a direct subordinate of Tianji Tower, which was very strange. At the beginning, Enforcer Dong raised Night Sorrow's attention level under the instructions of Sikong Chuyu. In fact, it was for the sake of the Sikong family. Ordinary red concern of Tianji Tower was not in their eyes. It was just that the people who came down to investigate didn't pay much attention to them. If the Celestial Terminus Tower hadn't taken a liking to Yishang, then the Sikong clan would have been able to recruit him. But now, no matter which faction it was, even the members of the Eastern Xian region Celestial Terminus Tower headquarters couldn't touch Yishang. Thinking of this, Enforcer Dong quickly sent a letter with a white feather symbol to Qingshuwei City. After returning to Longquan Courtyard, he took the spirit congealing pill, blood essence pill, and meridian opening pill and began to cultivate. Normally, Night Sorrow would take a meridian opening pill, which could completely support him until he recovered. However, Night Sorrow was anxious. There were less than 2 months before the sect competition, so he had to make the best use of his time to cultivate. Night Sorrow had a plan. He would take the origin strengthening pill when he was in the 3rd level of element gathering realm and raise his cultivation to the peak of the 3rd level. Then, he would raise his cultivation to the 4th level of element gathering realm before the sect competition. Only then would he have the ability to fight against Su Mu. Chapter 114. Night Sorrow was still some distance away from the peak of the second level of element gathering tier. Even if he reached the bottleneck of the second level, he still needed time to stabilize his cultivation and prepare to break through. After breaking through, he still needed to stabilize his cultivation before he could take another origin strengthening pill, so time was very tight for Night Sorrow. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, Yang Lei, Aoi, Mo Qin, and Chu Lingfei held a banquet. Gong Xian and Yang Lei had both reached the 5th level. This was something worth celebrating. No other peak had such a situation. Where's 13? Where did he go? Why isn't he drinking? Mo Qin looked around, looking for Night Sorrow. Do you even need to ask? He's cultivating in his room. He's a cultivation maniac, Yang Lei said. Because of Su Mu's appearance, 13 is under a lot of pressure. He hasn't been able to rest for the past few months. My heart aches for him, Oi said with a sigh. That Su Mu is too hateful. He's just like his master. How did the Medicine Valley produce such a person? Yang Lei clenched her fists and said hatefully. 9th senior sister, didn't Taishan Peak produce some amazing people as well? You and senior brother Gong have both reached the 5th level. This is something no other peak has achieved. Junior brother Night Sorrow's future is also limitless, Chu Lingfei said with a smile. Hey, why don't you mention me? Mo Qin asked. Senior brother Gong and 9th senior sister have both reached the 5th level. We'll talk about it when you reach the 5th level. Chu Lingfei glanced at Mo Qin and said. 11. Everyone knows that you've delayed your cultivation because of 12, but you have to catch up quickly, Aoi said as she patted Mo Qin's shoulder. I will, 6th senior sister. Mo Qin nodded. He had been working hard to stabilize his cultivation recently, planning to break through to the 4th level. Us brothers and sisters are all good people. Just work hard and cultivate. Even if you don't have any cultivation, you are still my good 11th brother. Yang Lei raised her wine cup to Mo Qin. Thank you, 9th senior sister. Mo Qin turned his head and wiped the corners of his eyes. I still miss Guan Yi. After Mo Qin finished speaking, Yang Lei and Aoi lowered their heads and didn't say anything. They were the same. Mo Qin, Guan Yi will be proud to have brothers and sisters like you. Let's drink. Chu Lingfei patted Mo Qin's shoulder. Lingfei, I'm sorry for making you wait for me for more than 10 years, Mo Qin said. It hasn't been easy for you all these years. Don't think too much about it. I understand. Chu Lingfei nodded, tears in her eyes. Meeting you is my fortune. Let me toast you. Mo Qin nodded at Chu Lingfei. 9th junior sister, isn't it shameless to show off your love? Aoi looked at Yang Lei and asked. Yes, extremely shameless. Yang Lei nodded in agreement with Aoi. Senior sisters, don't make fun of us. Let me pour you some wine, Chu Lingfei said with a red face. The 4 of them drank happily because they were all very happy. After cultivating for 2 days, Night Sorrow came out of seclusion. After coming out, Night Sorrow wanted to practice with Yang Lei. Before the practice, Aoi carefully checked Night Sorrow's right arm. She only agreed when she was sure it had recovered. 13. Your arm is injured. Control the strength of your attack, Yang Lei reminded Night Sorrow. Hair. Night Sorrow nodded and began to attack. This time, Yang Lei didn't take the initiative to attack. She only defended passively and let Night Sorrow feel the strength of her attack. She was afraid that if she attacked forcefully, Night Sorrow's right arm wouldn't be able to hold on. Night Sorrow used his right hand to perform the reincarnation spear technique and practiced with Yang Lei. Because Yang Lei didn't take the initiative to attack, Night Sorrow lasted longer. He lasted for an hour. After an hour, Night Sorrow dragged his tired body and left. He's even more ferocious than demonic beasts. When he came back, the bones in his arm had just healed. How long has it been since then? He can already fight at such a high intensity, Yang Lei said with some emotion. Haha, you're right. Aoi said with a smile. She agreed with Yang Lei's point of view. 11. Do you want to spar with 13 tomorrow? Yang Lei, who had put away her black sword, wiped the sweat on her forehead and said. Me? That's fine too. I'll treat it as cultivation. I've seen Sumu. He's in the early stage of the 7th level of element gathering tier. If he uses an origin increasing pill, he can reach the peak of the 7th level of element gathering tier or the early stage of the 8th level of element gathering tier before the sect competition. 9 peak is full of bastards. When Beast Baby entered, he was in the early stage of the 5th level of element gathering tier. He's already in the 7th level of element gathering tier. This means that he's already taken an origin increasing pill, Yang Lei scolded angrily. I've also asked around. This guy is naturally gifted. He has copper skin and iron bones. Taking pills like the origin increasing pill won't cause much harm to his body, Mo Chen told her what he knew. I still believe in 13. 13 will definitely be able to take care of him, Aoi said. After cultivating for 2 days, Night Sorrow's opponent changed. It was Mo Chen. This time, Night Sorrow lasted a little longer. This was mainly because Mo Chen's true chi was not as strong as Yang Lei's. Night Sorrow left the martial arts practice field. Mo Chen sat down on a chair and panted heavily. Ninth senior sister, he's going to kill someone. I've never fought for such a long time. That's why you have to cultivate this too. This is called toughness, Yang Lei said with a smile. All right. I originally planned to return to the sect and cultivate at Danding Cliff. That's not bad. I'll settle down for a while and then break through, Mo Chen said. Mo Chen, haven't you thought about taking first place on the alchemy rankings? In the Medicine Valley, the origin rankings, alchemy rankings, and heaven rankings were symbols of glory. They were the pride of the disciples of the same level. All these years, Mo Chen had been chasing after Luo Sihai, so he didn't try to challenge the alchemy rankings. Now, the first place on the alchemy rankings was Tianyue Peak's Lin Tianjue. It's nothing. They're all third-generation disciples. I'm a second-generation disciple. Why should I compete with them? Mo Chen said with a smile. He didn't really care about the rankings. Lin Tianjue is older than you. He entered the sect around the same time as you. I think he was 2 years earlier than you. Why can't you go? I can't stand the way the Tianyue Peak disciples are. My brother's son, my nephew, was defeated by Lin Tianjue, Chu Lingfei said. It's inevitable to win or lose in a competition. You have to persuade your nephew to take it easy, Mo Chen said with a smile. You're right. There are always winners and losers in a battle. However, he shouldn't have insulted others. After Chu Yuan, my nephew, fell to the ground, he lost his ability to fight. He even kicked him and called him trash. Is he even human? I'll challenge him in the sect tournament, although I'm not confident, Chu Lingfei said. Chapter 115. Okay. Since you all don't like him, then I'll go and teach him a lesson. But you all have to remember to cultivate your character. It's useless to fight. Mo Chen said with a smile. Go to hell. Aoi took a pear on the table and threw it at Mo Chen. Sixth senior sister, don't be angry. Mo Chen jumped and said with a smile. Who can fight more fiercely than you? You chased someone and made Ling Fei wait for more than 10 years, and you still have the nerve to talk about us. Yang Lei also looked at Mo Qin with disdain. Chu Lingfei didn't speak. She had discovered that the disciples of Tai Xian Peak were quite ruthless. This wasn't just a matter of being ruthless in battle. Mo Qin had chased after Luo Sihai for over 10 years. This was a matter of being ruthless to himself. In order to vent for Aoi, Gong Xian forced Chu Lingxiao to not participate in the sect competition. Yang Lei was ruthless to the opponents who dared to bully the disciples of Taishan Peak. This was a ruthless attitude. Now Night Sorrow was cultivating day and night. This was a kind of persistence. Lingfei, what are you thinking about? Why are you so absorbed? Mo Qin waved his hand in front of Lingfei's eyes. It's nothing, Chu Lingfei said. I just feel that the atmosphere between the fellow disciples on Taishan Peak is very good. You can communicate with each other as you please. In the other peaks, the senior brothers and sisters all have stern faces, and the junior brothers and sisters are always trembling in front of them. Yang Lei and Aoi both smiled. They were very proud of this. They thanked Yang Yu for giving them such an environment, and also thanked Gong Xian for setting an example for them. Mo Qin, that Lin Tianjue is now known to be invincible in the core condensation realm. You have to be prepared. Don't fail. Most see newbie, chapter section G, KB, then let's see how powerful his invincible core condensation is. Mo Qin said with a smile. He didn't care about Lin Tianjue's so-called invincible core condensation at all. When Mo Qin was chasing after Luo Sihai had hired assassins to deal with Mo Qin. Not to mention peak third-order assassins, Mo Qin had already killed several early fourth-order assassins. He was confident that he could enter the fourth order at any time, he just wanted to consolidate his strength here. While they were drinking and chatting, Night Sorrow came out and went straight to the garden. 11th senior brother, can we start now? Mo Qin rubbed his face, stood up, and walked towards the training field. Seeing that Mo Qin was ready, Night Sorrow brandished his spear and started attacking. Today, let's play something exciting. I will use my cultivation of the peak of the second step to fight with you. You should also use your full strength. Mo Qin waved the long sword in his hand and shook off Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. He began his counterattack. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear swept and blocked Mo Qin's attack path. However, when Night Sorrow turned his spear back to intercept, Mo Qin's body flashed and changed his direction. He knew that the shock force on Night Sorrow's weapon was difficult to deal with. Even if he used his cultivation of the peak of the second step, he wouldn't be at an advantage. Seeing that Mo Qin didn't want to fight him head-on and use skills to fight, Night Sorrow used the dragon leap steps under his feet and relied on his body to attack Mo Qin. The shock force in the reincarnation spear was reduced to 9. Under the situation where they didn't collide, it was completely unnecessary to maintain 36 shock force. The sound of weapons colliding couldn't be heard. The two figures drew circles and intertwined back and forth, constantly attacking each other. Both of them are fighting very intelligently. 11 has a lot of battle experience and knows that his true chi at the peak of the second step won't be able to suppress 13, so he uses battle skills. However, 13's battle instincts are a bit too strong, Aoi said as she watched the two people fighting. This is a battle talent, an innate battle talent. He knows how to adapt to the situation. It's like he knows how to compete in body movement. His body movement isn't as fast as 11's, but he won't be at a disadvantage if he fights head-on. So he uses big moves to block. Yang Lei said. This spear technique is fast and fierce, and there's also this shock force. Junior brother Night Sorrow has really practiced it to perfection, Chu Lingfei said. Aoi nodded. She also agreed with this point. Night Sorrow didn't have enough true chi, but the essence of this spear technique was perfectly displayed. There was also the additional shock force. This was something that ordinary people couldn't do no matter how hard they tried. Night Sorrow and Mo Chen's battlefield kept changing. Mo Chen also became serious, because he couldn't suppress Night Sorrow with his true chi at the peak of element gathering tier. This made him very surprised. His attacks became faster and faster, using his battle experience to control the situation. Feeling Mo Chen's attacks becoming faster and faster, Night Sorrow's movement speed also began to increase. Otherwise, he would only be able to passively take a beating. 11 can't get the upper hand, this is really... Aoi said, shaking her head. 13's strength is very strong. If you attack me, I'll fight you to the death. Although it's a bit shameless, it's also the best way. 11 is using his true chi at the element gathering tier, so he really can't do anything to him. Yang Lei said with a smile. She knew how strong Night Sorrow was, so she understood that Mo Chen using his true chi at the element gathering tier wouldn't be able to do anything to Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow also couldn't do anything to Mo Chen. The difference in their natures was too great. After all, Night Sorrow was only at the second level of element gathering tier. After fighting for an hour, Night Sorrow's true chi was almost exhausted. 13, I'm using the power of the peak of element gathering tier to fight you. I'll use up a lot of true chi, so I won't drag this battle out any longer. Take this, 6 consecutive cloud-piercing strikes. Mo Chen retreated abruptly, leaving behind an afterimage. His long sword stabbed towards Yishan. Too fast. Night Sorrow didn't have enough time to block with his reincarnation spear. He could only raise his left hand, circulate the energy in his body, and use Xinyu hand to meet Mo Chen's long sword. Pang! With a muffled sound, Mo Chen was pushed back by Night Sorrow. After retreating 10 meters, Mo Chen's right foot tapped the ground, and he once again charged towards Night Sorrow. Second strike. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear to block, but once again, he blocked nothing. Mo Chen's body unreasonably changed direction to attack. This was because the piercing cloud's 6 consecutive strikes was supported by the piercing cloud movement technique, which was full of flexibility and strangeness. Night Sorrow's feet shook, and he retreated a step. He raised his left hand and used Xinyu hand again. Mo Chen's long sword was bent by Night Sorrow's palm, and his body was once again pushed back. Cloud-piercing third strike. Mo Chen, who had been sent flying, kicked a tree and shot back. 6th senior sister, 9th senior sister, quickly stop him. If this continues, something bad will happen. Chu Lingfei was a bit anxious. She was worried that Mo Chen would hurt Night Sorrow. The battle was too intense now. Don't worry, 11 is using his true chi at the peak stage of element gathering tier. He can control it at a critical moment. Qing Ji shook her head. She knew that Mo Chen's cultivation level was at the peak of the core condensation realm. If he fought with his cultivation level at the peak of the essence gathering realm, he would be able to control his strength as he wished. He wouldn't actually hurt Yishang. Again. Night Sorrow, who missed again, used Xinyu hand again to push Mo Chen back. However, the blue stone under his feet also shattered. Night Sorrow didn't need to shout. Mo Chen, who was pushed back, flipped his body in the air and attacked Night Sorrow again. This time, Night Sorrow didn't use his spear to block, because he couldn't block it. He directly raised his left hand and once again slapped towards Mo Chen's long sword. At this moment, he could only meet it head-on. Bang! Chapter 116. After fighting for an hour, using Xinyu hand 4 times was Night Sorrow's limit. His body and true chi were almost depleted, so he didn't dare to let Imo-chan use 5 consecutive strikes. Imo-chan raised his sword and blocked Night Sorrow's spear. The two of them were in a deadlock. 13. Do you still have true chi? If I'm at the peak stage of element gathering realm, my true chi should be almost depleted. Are you sure you can do it? Imo-chan blocked Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear and said with a smile. I can't. This is the last strike. After saying this, Night Sorrow sat down on the ground. After using the 4th Shinyu hand, the energy in his body was almost depleted, and his legs were weak. Aoi held 2 cups of tea and handed one to Imo-chan and the other to Night Sorrow. After drinking the tea, Night Sorrow bowed to his senior sister and senior brother. He dragged his reincarnation spear and left. Once his energy was depleted, he would have to cultivate. Not bad. I'm so tired that I'm covered in sweat. 13 has no problem fighting against someone in the late stage of element gathering realm. Imo-chan wiped his sweat and said. 9th junior sister, hey. 9th junior sister, what are you thinking about? Aoi said. Didn't you guys see? He used Shinyu hand 4 times in a row. How is this possible? When I first started cultivating, I could only use one move. Yang Lei said frantically. At this time, Aoi and Imo-chan finally remembered. They didn't cultivate heaven covering hand, so they didn't notice. This bastard. After fighting for an hour, he could still use Shinyu hand 4 times. This is heaven defying. Yang Lei paced back and forth as she pondered. Aoi and Imo-chan didn't utter a word. The two of them were also thinking. 9th senior sister, I used my sword just now. If it was a fist or a palm, I would be at a disadvantage, right? Imo-chan asked after thinking for a while. That's right. Because the speed of your piercing cloud's 6 consecutive strikes was very fast, you weren't able to take the full brunt of his Shinyu hand's attack. If it had been a clash of fists and palms, then the one who wouldn't have been able to withstand it would have been you who had used your element-gathering tier cultivation. Yang Lei nodded. 9th senior sister, do you have the urge to hang 13 up and interrogate him? Imo-chan said with a smile. That's not necessarily the case. I'm only happy that 13 is outstanding. This is his path, not mine. Yang Lei shook her head. After cultivating for 2 days, Night Sorrow came out. He didn't even eat when he came out. Instead, he went straight to Imo-chan to continue sparring. Go wash up and eat something. Your hair is a mess. You look like a lunatic, Aoi complained when she saw Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow wanted to fight Imo-chan immediately, but he had to listen to Aoi. He went to wash up and then went to the practice field. OC Original Version 6F. When he arrived at the practice field, Night Sorrow took out a sky-piercing spear and pinned it to his waist. 13, you can't do this. You can't throw this away when we're sparring. You'll lose your life. Seeing the sky-piercing spear at Night Sorrow's waist, Imo-chan was so scared that he took a step back. I don't plan to throw it away. I only have 2 hands. The reincarnation spear in my right hand can't defend against you. I can use a short spear with my left hand. Night Sorrow looked at the sky-piercing spear at his waist and said. Fine. If you dare to throw it away, then I won't play with you anymore. Imo-chan waved his long sword and began to attack. Night Sorrow held the reincarnation spear with both hands and attacked wildly, not allowing Imo-chan to get close to him. If he didn't defend and let Imo-chan get close, Night Sorrow would let go of the reincarnation spear in his left hand and grab the sky-piercing spear to stab fiercely. This kind of attacking method gave Imo-chan a headache. He shouldn't get close. The long sword didn't have any power, but if he got close, Night Sorrow's short spear in his left hand would not only randomly stab, but also have an extraordinary strength. There was also a shock force on it, making it very difficult for him to defend. His long sword was easily shaken away. Aoi covered her mouth and laughed. 11 is too sullen. Hee, this kind of sparring is simply torture. That's right. After just one battle, 13 already has a targeted tactic. If it wasn't for the fact that 13's true chi at the peak stage of element gathering realm is much stronger than his, this sparring wouldn't have been able to continue. Yang Lei also said. Knight Zoro's left hand and right hand were two extremes. His right hand was wide open and firm, while his left hand was incomparably smooth. If you dare to get close, I'll randomly stab you with my short spear. 6th senior sister, 9th senior sister, 13th's method is too shameless. After fighting for a while, Emo-chan sullenly began to shout. Emo-chan couldn't be blamed for this. He had to suppress his cultivation. With his cultivation at the peak stage of element gathering realm, he couldn't completely suppress Knight Zoro. If he attacked forcefully, he would be shaken away by Knight Zoro's shock force. If he got close, he would have to face the attacks of Knight Zoro's short spear. He also couldn't directly use the 6 consecutive cloud-piercing strikes. That would lose the meaning of sparring. Hearing Emo-chan's shout, Knight Zoro took a few steps back. This won't do. Then I won't use my short spear. After saying this, Knight Zoro put away his short spear. Why not use it? Aoi asked. 11th senior brother doesn't like it. Knight Zoro looked at Aoi and said. His thoughts were very simple. This was sparring. If Emo-chan didn't like it, then he wouldn't use it. 13, do you know? The more the opponent hates the tactic, the more effective it is. You have the short spear, so your 11th senior brother won't be able to attack. This is the most effective tactic. Sparring should be like this. Yang Lei corrected Knight Zoro's thoughts. Then 11th senior brother, shall we continue? Knight Zoro once again put his short spear back into his waist and said to Emo-chan. Continue. I can't do anything to you, but what can you do to me? Emo-chan said as he waved his long sword. This time, Knight Zoro attacked first. After attacking, Knight Zoro seemed like a completely different person. He held his reincarnation spear in both hands and continuously stabbed, smashed, and flicked. Emo-chan relied on his body movement to dodge. Occasionally, he would attack with his sword, forcing Knight Zoro to defend himself. He would only occasionally counterattack. If he counterattacked continuously, Knight Zoro would use his short spear to stab him when he got close. Neither of them could do anything to the other. After fighting for an hour, the two of them stopped. Both of them had used up most of their cultivation. Emo-chan's cultivation was at the peak stage of element gathering realm. There's not much point in sparring like this. 13, your cultivation is too low, so you can't keep up with your 11th senior brother's pace. You should hurry up and increase your cultivation, Yang Lei said. I know. I'll go into seclusion in 2 days. When Knight Zoro was cultivating last night, he felt that he couldn't refine the energy to increase his cultivation. This was a sign that he had reached the peak stage of the 2nd level of element gathering realm. Don't just focus on cultivating. Sometimes, it's good to relax a little. Go wash up, then ask Hai Luo to prepare some dishes. Roast some meat, and ask your 6th senior sister to prepare some good wine. Let's have a drink, Yang Lei said. Okay, I'll come later. Knight Zoro nodded and left. Ever since I had 13, my wine reserves have suffered. Fortunately, I brewed some wine a few years ago and stored it in the cellar. Otherwise, it would have been squeezed dry by you guys, Aoi said with a smile. Chapter 117. It won't be long. This time, other than the battle between 13 and Sumu, Chu Ning and the others won't be ranked low. Aoi said. Although Chu Ning and the others were not as eye-catching as Night Sorrow, they were still much stronger than the outer disciples of the other peaks. This time, it's not just the competition between the new disciples. It's also the competition between Taishan Peak and Nineteenth Peak, Yang Lei said with a sigh. Aoi and Mo Chen both nodded. This sect competition was indeed very important because it involved the competition for the position of Medicine Valley's Valley Master. The Medicine Valley's Valley Master not only needed to be strong, but also had the ability to manage and teach disciples. Gong Xian and Yang Lei's advancement had already won a lot of face for Yu Yangyu. If Night Sorrow could defeat Su Mu, then Su Chenbai's side would be completely at a disadvantage. It could be said that they had no chance to compete with Yu Yangyu for the position of Valley Master. After stabilizing his cultivation for 2 days, Night Sorrow said goodbye to Yang Lei and Aoi and went into seclusion. Mo Chen was originally going to help Night Sorrow guard, but he was driven away by Yang Lei and Aoi to accompany Chu Lingfei. Yang Lei and Aoi were playing chess in the hall of the courtyard's main building, helping Night Sorrow guard. In fact, Night Sorrow was just advancing, so he didn't need to guard so seriously. It was just Aoi and Yang Lei who were worried. Night Sorrow calmed the true qi in his dantian in his room. After his true qi was completely calm, Night Sorrow took half a spirit congealing pill and began to break through to the 3rd level of essence gathering realm. Advancing to the essence gathering realm was similar to advancing to the qi refining realm, but the quality of true qi was different. At the same time, one needed to expand their dantian. Every time he advanced in the qi refining and essence gathering realms, he had to expand his dantian to accommodate more true qi. This was all in preparation for condensing his gold core. Night Sorrow controlled the true qi in his dantian and spread it in all directions, expanding the volume of his dantian. This was a necessary process. With the shock impact of true qi, the space in Night Sorrow's dantian was getting larger and larger. He guided the medicinal power of the spirit congealing pill into the dantian to fill the blank space. The medicinal power of the spirit congealing pill entered the dantian as a misty energy. After being refined by the true qi, it turned into a liquid true qi, wandering outside the 2nd true qi halo. 2 hours passed. 4 hours passed. The space in Night Sorrow's dantian had reached the limit of what true qi could expand. At this time, Night Sorrow began to circulate the Jin Qi in his dantian to condense the 3rd Jin Qi halo. With the medicinal power of Night Sorrow refining the spirit congealing pill, there was no shortage of true qi energy to condense the 3rd true qi halo. Under the efforts of Night Sorrow, the 3rd true qi halo slowly formed. Night Sorrow circulated the 2 true qi halos inside, driving the 3rd one to slowly rotate and slowly solidify. Time slipped away little by little, it took half a day. The 3rd true qi halo did not need to be driven by the previous 2 true qi halos, and it could also operate on its own. 3rd level of element gathering realm. At this time, Night Sorrow officially entered the 3rd level of element gathering realm. After stabilizing his cultivation for a while, Night Sorrow walked out of the room after dawn. Genuine Z, _P_, not bad, congratulations, 13. Seeing Night Sorrow coming down from the 2nd floor, Aoi got up and greeted him. 6th senior sister, 9th senior sister, you've been guarding me all night. There's no need for that. Night Sorrow's heart felt warm. He knew that his 2 senior sisters cared about him. I'm just playing chess with 6th senior sister, it's nothing. It's good that you've successfully advanced. Let's go eat something. I don't know what Hai Luo made for breakfast this morning. Hai Luo is better at managing the courtyard than Little Six. Yang Lei said with a smile. Little Six is good at managing people in the future. As for other things, Hai Luo is more suitable. Aoi also thought so. In the loft, Hai Luo and the other girls had already prepared breakfast. Little Six had also returned. He had gone to Danding City early to buy food and vegetables for Tianyu and Aoi's mounts. Little Six, in the future, listen to Hai Luo when it comes to food arrangements. Hai Luo will take care of the internal matters of the courtyard. You take care of the external matters. Night Sorrow said to Little Six. I understand. Hai Luo is truly better at managing the courtyard than me. Little Six nodded, but there was a hint of disappointment in his eyes. Don't think too much. I don't have any other intentions. In the future, you can also cultivate. You will also be responsible for the courtyard's safety. Here are some essence nurturing pills. You and Hai Luo will each get a bottle. When you're done, you can ask me for more. If Hai Luo asks Hai Luo anything, Hai Luo will ask for more. Night Sorrow took out the essence nurturing pills he had refined himself and gave them to Little Six and Hai Luo. Only then did he eat breakfast with Aoi and Yang Lei. Not bad, not bad. Aoi said as she ate. They had been worried that Night Sorrow would not be able to handle things properly and disappoint Little Six. Who would have thought that Night Sorrow would be so experienced? Night Sorrow smiled and continued eating. He felt that although Little Six's abilities were not as strong as Hai Luo's, he was still diligent. He was worthy of an important position. 13. Are you in a good mood? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I advanced. This way, I can take the essence nurturing pill and increase my strength before the sect competition, Night Sorrow said as he took a bite of his bun. You should relax and stabilize your cultivation for the next few days. It's not good to be tense all the time. Look at Chu Ning and Tang Tian, those brats. They are so carefree every day, Yang Lei said with a smile. I understand. I plan to stabilize my cultivation for the next few days while cultivating and concocting pills, Night Sorrow said. That's fine. What about that leopard embryo tendon strengthening pill you want to refine? I suggest you refine the essence nurturing pill first. Wait until you are proficient in refining tier 2 pills before touching it. After all, the golden silk leopard's blood is very precious, Aoi gave her opinion. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. He did not dare to squander the materials for the leopard embryo tendon strengthening pill. After eating, Night Sorrow began to refine the essence nurturing pill under Aoi's guidance. This was a mainstream tier 2 support pill. After half an hour, Night Sorrow managed to refine a cauldron of essence nurturing pill. Although he succeeded, the quality was not good enough and could not be used. Again. Aoi gave him a lot of tier 2 materials. It was enough for him to squander. After refining the third cauldron, the quality of the essence nurturing pill passed and could be used. 2 cauldrons of pills that cannot be used. What a waste of materials, Night Sorrow said as he looked at the 2 cauldrons of pills that were not good enough. You've only failed twice to refine a tier 2 medicinal pill. Be content with that. Refine 3 cauldrons a day. After 10 days, you will be able to control the fire, Aoi said. Okay, where are the materials? Night Sorrow looked at Aoi and said with a smile. 11. I'll leave the purchasing of the materials to you. You and Ling Fei can go sightseeing, Aoi said. Okay. For the sake of our future alchemy master, I'll be the errand boy. Mo Chen shook his head and said. Thank you, 11th senior brother. I'll go cultivate, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 118. After advancing, Yi Shang didn't use the spirit congealing pill. He only ate the blood essence pill to cultivate the Book of Myriad Tao. His Shin Qi was only used to stabilize his cultivation. he didn't try to advance rashly. There was no point in increasing his cultivation. One essence strengthening pill was enough to replenish the energy needed to reach level 3 of element gathering tier. Yi Shang spent the next few days like this. In the afternoon and at night, he cultivated the myriad Tao Tome and stabilized his true Qi cultivation. During the day, he cultivated his combat skills for a while, and then he refined pills. Now, his speed and quality of refining pills had greatly improved. He only needed 2 hours to refine a batch of Qi gathering pills. Moreover, the quality of the pills was also very high. Aoi and the others were also very happy. Aoi specialized in refining pills, but she did not refine low-level pills. The main reason was that Taishan Peak did not need low-level pills. Because there were no third-generation disciples and no members below the second level, they did not need Qi gathering pills. However, after this year, they would need Qi gathering pills. Nangong Dai, Chu Ning, and the others had all entered the essence gathering stage and needed Qi gathering pills to cultivate. In addition, Taishan Peak would also be recruiting new disciples next year. There was a huge shortage of pills. The main peak, Danding Peak, gave out resources, but after all, it was limited. Therefore, Taishan Peak also needed to refine Qi gathering pills. This way, the disciples could improve faster. Now, Night Sorrow could cultivate his alchemy skills and also accumulate some Qi gathering pills. It was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. After refining Qi gathering pills for 10 days, Night Sorrow planned to refine leopard embryo muscle strengthening pills. Although he still had blood essence pills, he could not keep up with the pace and delayed his cultivation progress. After talking to Aoi, Night Sorrow began to refine the pills. It was Yi Shang's first time refining the leopard embryo tendon strengthening pill, so he was a little nervous. Rank 2 elixirs were different. The soul gathering elixir was the simplest rank 2 beginner elixir, while the leopard embryo tendon strengthening pill was a rank 2 advanced elixir. There was still some difference in difficulty between them. I don't know how to refine this pill. You have to control the ratio of the ingredients. Don't be quick, just steady, Aoi reminded Night Sorrow when she saw Night Sorrow take out the ingredients. Yi Shang nodded. He divided the main ingredients and supplementary ingredients before starting to refine. First of all, the gallbladder of the black and white twin python was refined by Night Sorrow. This was the main ingredient of the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill. Under the heat of the furnace, the python gallbladder melted, turning into a medicinal concoction. Night Sorrow slowly condensed and purified the medicinal concoction. This was a slow process, and it took 1 hour for Night Sorrow to complete the purification. Next, it was time to refine and purify the green radish grass and 100 spirit grass. The 100 spirit grass was not a supplementary material. It was an ingredient needed for almost all pills. It was neutral and was the carrier of the medicinal juice. After purifying the green radish grass and 100 spirit grass, Night Sorrow began to refine the golden silk leopard's blood. Night Sorrow did not use the golden silk leopard's heart blood. It would be a waste to use it to refine the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill. Ordinary golden silk leopard's blood would suffice. Yi Shang slowly boiled the golden silk leopard's blood and concentrated the energy within it. When the golden silk leopard's blood began to show traces of gold, Yi Shang added in the decoction made from the black and white twin flower python's gallbladder and continued to refine it. The 2 ingredients churned within the furnace. After boiling for half an hour, Night Sorrow poured the green radish grass and 100 spirit grass's medicinal concoction into the furnace. He then slowly boiled and condensed the concoction. Night Sorrow was a little nervous. This leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill was too important to him. Don't be nervous. You just need to be steady and condense it slowly. When the time is right, the pill will be formed. Aoi reminded him. She was clear about Night Sorrow's current state. Nodding his head, Night Sorrow put all his energy into the furnace. After half an hour, the medicinal concoction in the furnace had condensed to a certain degree. Night Sorrow began to control the gelatinous medicinal concoction to form the pill. This refining process took an hour. When the medicine furnace cooled down, Yishang opened it and found a dozen dark red pills with golden threads lying inside. He immediately smiled. It's done. It's done in one try. Not bad. You can even succeed in refining a tier 2 high-grade pill in one try. Not bad. Aoi patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. Night Sorrow carefully put the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill into a jade bottle. The energy is very strong. It can't be compared to the dragon bone pill, but it's still very strong. Aoi said with a smile. Sixth senior sister, can you guys use it? Night Sorrow asked when he saw Yang Lei walking over. I don't know. When you refine it again, give us a few to try. Aoi didn't stand on ceremony. They were all senior and junior sisters. There was no need for formalities. Now, take 2 and study it. I'll refine it tomorrow. Night Sorrow gave Aoi and Yang Lei 2 pills each. Then, he put away the bottle. He was very tired today. Not only physically, but mentally as well. After returning to his room, Night Sorrow slept for 2 hours before going to cultivate. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, Aoi and Yang Lei ate the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill and started to feel the medicinal effects. Night Sorrow also ate 1 pill. He wanted to feel the difference between the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill and the blood essence pill. He didn't know whether it was suitable or not. This was a rank 2 blood essence pill that he found himself. The leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill slowly melted in his mouth. It turned into energy and entered Night Sorrow's body. Night Sorrow circulated the energy of the myriad Tao treasured tome and refined the energy, turning it into his own energy. /head L equals hair QX. Night Sorrow only finished refining the energy of the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill when the sun rose. Night Sorrow felt that the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill was much stronger than the blood essence pill. The blood essence pill's energy could only support him for 2 hours. 2 blood essence pills could only support him for 4 hours. After cultivating for the whole night, half of the night was spent absorbing the energy of heaven and earth. Night Sorrow went to the martial arts practice field and practiced the wind-chasing spear art for a while. He felt refreshed. After washing up, Night Sorrow went to the loft where he ate. Night Sorrow had just sat down when Aoi and Yang Lei arrived. How's the pill? Night Sorrow asked. It's not good. I didn't even absorb 1/5 of the energy before my body couldn't take it. I could only spit out half of the pill. The excess energy was wasted. Aoi said. My situation isn't too good either. I only absorbed 1/3 of the energy and my body couldn't take it anymore. Yang Lei's situation was slightly better than Aoi's. Ninth senior sister, didn't you eat the dragon bone pill before? Why can't you take it? Night Sorrow asked, puzzled. It's not the same. The dragon bone pill's medicinal effect is mild. Even if you don't refine it, it can continue to strengthen your body. Your leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill's medicinal effect is fierce. If you don't refine it, it will dissipate. The two are completely different. Yang Lei shook her head. Night Sorrow understood. If he didn't use the Myriad Tao treasured book, he wouldn't be able to absorb the energy of the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill. Aoi and Yang Lei wouldn't be able to do it either. It seemed like this was his exclusive pill. Cultivating the Myriad Tao treasured book was also his exclusive path. Let's not talk about this. This thing isn't suitable for us. 13. Did you use it? Aoi thought of this question. Chapter 119. What a monster. Aoi glanced at Night's sorrow. 6th senior sister, 9th senior sister, I have some elixirs that are not as effective as the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill. You can try them. Night Sorrow took out 2 bottles of blood essence pills and gave one to Aoi and Yanglei. With the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill, the blood essence pill was of little use to Night Sorrow. Then let's try this. Oh right, this leopard tendon strengthening pill is for you. It's useless for us. It's a complete waste. Yanglei put away the blood essence pill and returned the leopard tendon strengthening pill to Yishang. Aoi did the same. She gave the other leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill back to Night Sorrow and put away the blood essence pill. Let's try it first. I don't know where you got this good stuff. Remember, there are almost no elixirs that can strengthen the body. Be careful and don't get targeted. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. Are you still making the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill? Aoi gave Night Sorrow a bowl of porridge and asked. Yes, this one won't take long. Night Sorrow said. Then you don't have enough guts. Yanglei thought for a while and asked. Last time, she only brought a dozen guts. Yes, I have a lot of golden silk leopard's blood, but I don't have enough guts and green radish grass. Later, I will go to the pharmacies in Danding City to buy some. Night Sorrow told her his plan. Young master, what do you want to buy? I will do it. Little Six came in and heard Night Sorrow's words. Night Sorrow didn't let Little Six call him Lord. Now, Little Six and Hai Luo all called him Young Master Night Sorrow. Okay, I need the guts, green radish grass and 100 spirit grass. You can control the price. If there are any problems, come to me. Night Sorrow nodded. Okay, I'll go right away. Little Six nodded and walked out. What's the hurry? Let's eat first. I'm not in a hurry. Night Sorrow waved his hand at Little Six. Little Six bowed to Night Sorrow and went to eat. After finishing his meal, Night Sorrow went to the martial arts practice field and started to practice his combat skills. His current goal was higher. He used the reincarnation spear with his right hand and the sky-piercing spear in his left hand. He also used the wind-chasing spear art. The difference was that one of his moves was big and wide, while the other was strange and ever-changing. Okioheim and Yanglei, who were watching from the side, looked at each other. There were many things in their eyes. They knew that to be able to deduce many things from one instance and cultivate the wind-chasing spear art to such a level, even the senior who created this spear art was unable to do so. Yanglei didn't say anything. She gestured to Aoi to continue watching. After cultivating for an hour, Night Sorrow stopped. His face wasn't red and he wasn't out of breath. Since this wasn't a spar, cultivating for an hour didn't consume much of his energy. Senior sisters, do you think I can cultivate like this? After putting away the sky-piercing spear and the reincarnation spear, Night Sorrow asked. It depends on the situation. If your opponent is aggressive and has a higher cultivation level than you, just like your 11th senior brother that day, the effect of your dual spear art is fine. If your opponent is about the same level as you, then your strength is strong and you have the vibration force technique. You can completely crush your opponent. Yanglei expressed her opinion. I understand. In other words, my short spear will only be useful if I meet an opponent who can break through my reincarnation spear and use the wind-chasing spear art. At other times, I don't need it. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. That's right. Different opponents require different tactics. Take you, junior brother, for example. It's very difficult for your opponent to withstand the full brute force of a Tier 2 attack. Offense is the best defense. Yanglei shared her experience. I understand. This is suitable for protecting my life, but it reduces the strength of my attacks. Night Sorrow understood the meaning behind Yang Lei's words. Senior Martial Sister doesn't mean that you can't cultivate this. She mainly wants to tell you how to fight. Yang Lei explained. She was worried that she would mislead Night Sorrow. I understand what Senior Martial Sister means. Oh right, can we throw the short spear during the set competition? Night Sorrow changed the topic and asked. There's no precedent for this. The short spear can't be considered a hidden weapon, but it can be thrown. Yang Lei was also stunned by Night Sorrow's question. The Medicine Valley sect competition didn't allow the use of hidden weapons. However, it was hard to say whether Night Sorrow's sky-piercing spear was considered a hidden weapon. It depends on the situation. If the situation isn't good, then shoot. Aoi said. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that he shouldn't shoot the sky-piercing spear if he could. After eating something at noon, Night Sorrow went to refine the leopard embryo tendon strengthening pill. He wanted to turn the blood of an ordinary golden silk leopard into an elixir. That would be enough for him to advance to the bone-forging stage of the Myriad Tao treasured tome. Watching Night Sorrow refine the elixir, Yang Lei lost her patience and left after watching for a while. Aoi accompanied Night Sorrow until he finished refining a cauldron. You're getting more and more skilled. Very good. It seems that you can also specialize in alchemy. However, don't delay your cultivation. Aoi said to Night Sorrow. A person's energy was limited. If they went astray, it would greatly affect their own achievements. A high-level alchemist must be a cultivator with profound cultivation. However, a cultivator with profound cultivation wasn't necessarily an alchemist grandmaster. Profound attainments in alchemy required cultivation as a foundation. This was a prerequisite. Therefore, Aoi reminded Night Sorrow. After putting away the leopard embryo tendon strengthening pill, Night Sorrow realized that he didn't have many jade bottles left. In the future, it would be a problem to store elixirs. He asked Little Six to get more elixir bottles. /CE, only original. He's all V pirated copies. When he went to drink tea with Aoi, Night Sorrow noticed the situation in the martial arts practice field. Yang Lei had one hand behind her back and the other hand was holding a rattan. She was teaching the third-generation disciples of the Taishan Peak. The third-generation disciples of the Taishan Peak were all here. All of them had entered the essence-gathering realm. Now that Yang Lei was teaching them battle techniques, they would be whipped if anything went wrong. 13. Do you think that you're luckier than them? Aoi said with a smile when she saw Night Sorrow's mouth twitching. Yes. If I was a third-generation disciple, Ninth Senior Sister would whip me too. Night Sorrow said. No. This has nothing to do with which generation you are. It's about your attitude towards cultivation. You don't need to supervise them. They're doing very well. We're not as good as them. However, they're not as good. They're talented but not hardworking enough. Aoi said. I think they're working very hard. Night Sorrow said. They're good enough compared to normal people and other peaks. However, they're disciples of the Taishan Peak. If they're not strong enough, they'll embarrass the Taishan Peak. Do they have the strength to fight back when they're bullied? It'll be too late for regrets. Aoi said. Chapter 120. After watching Night Sorrow for a while, he went to cultivate. He planned to settle down for one more day before eating the origin increasing pill. There were still over 20 days before the sect competition, so time was tight. After returning to his room, Night Sorrow began to cultivate. He did not eat the spirit congealing pill to cultivate now, because it was useless. Even if it increased his cultivation by a bit, there was not much meaning. The effect of the origin increasing pill was to raise his cultivation level to the peak, and could not help him advance. For example, Night Sorrow was currently in the early stage of the third level of element gathering realm. After eating the origin increasing pill, his cultivation level would increase to the peak of the third level. Even if Night Sorrow reached the middle stage of the third level of element gathering realm, the result would still be the same. Night Sorrow had to calculate the time. After eating the origin increasing pill, he still had to stabilize his cultivation level, and then break through to the fourth level of element gathering realm. Using the cultivation level of the fourth level of element gathering realm to participate in the sect competition would be much stronger than using the cultivation level of the third level of element gathering realm. After cultivating for an entire night, Night Sorrow got up to wash up, practiced a round of fist techniques, ate some food, and took a stroll to catch his breath. After greeting Yang Lei and Aoi, he returned to his room, ate the origin increasing pill, and began to cultivate. The medicinal effect of the origin increasing pill was relatively slow, but it was endless. Night Sorrow continuously refined the medicinal effect into true qi, filling the emptiness of his dantian after advancing. Feeling that he could control the rhythm, Night Sorrow ate the leopard embryo tendon strengthening pill and cultivated the myriad Tao treasured tome. During this time, Night Sorrow worked hard to cultivate true qi, but did not neglect the cultivation of the myriad Tao treasured tome. Currently, he was not far from the peak of the first level of muscle strengthening. This time, Night Sorrow spent 3 days in seclusion, but the results were obvious. Not only did his true qi cultivation level rise to the peak of the third level of element gathering realm, but he also raised the level of the myriad Tao treasured tome to the peak of the first level of muscle strengthening. Not bad. Peak of the third level of element gathering realm. There's still half a month's time. If everything goes well, you might be able to raise another level, Aoi said with a smile when she saw Night Sorrow come out of seclusion. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. He was also very satisfied with the progress. After eating, Night Sorrow played with Tianyu for a while, and then took a walk around Celestial Lake to relax himself. After that, Night Sorrow returned to his room. He wanted to raise the cultivation level of the myriad Daos tome and do his best for the sect competition. Originally, Night Sorrow had attached great importance to the sect competition, but not to this extent. A few days ago, he saw Yang Lei teaching the disciples how to practice combat skills and heard what Aoi said. He was determined to win the sect competition because it was the glory of Taishan Peak. In addition, he also had to fight for Yu Yangyu. Where's 13? Aoi, who had finished brewing tea in the living room, asked without seeing Night Sorrow. Lady Aoi, the young master has returned to his room. He's probably cultivating, Hai Luo said. Got it. Aoi sighed. She felt a bit sad. She wished she could take his place, but currently, only Night Sorrow could take on the task of competing amongst the newcomers. The first layer of the myriad Daos tome strengthened the muscles in the arms and palms. After this period of hard work and the support of the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill, Night Sorrow's body was already saturated with energy. Night Sorrow controlled the energy in his body and directed it to his left arm and hand. With his experience of breaking through to the blood refining realm, Night Sorrow knew it was easier to do it one at a time. If he directly strengthened both arms, then the energy wouldn't be concentrated. As the energy entered and strengthened, waves of energy appeared on Night Sorrow's left arm. They were like small twisting snakes. Pain. It was extremely painful. The cramping pain caused Night Sorrow's forehead to be covered in sweat. However, this kind of pain was something Night Sorrow could endure. What he was most afraid of was the feeling of suffocation when breaking through to the 9th rank in the blood refining realm, as well as the feeling of numbness when breaking through to the muscle strengthening realm. After 4 hours, Night Sorrow's energy had completely strengthened the muscles in his left arm and hand. The energy was shuttling back and forth through his muscles. After his left arm was done, Night Sorrow began to strengthen his right arm and hand. Time slowly slipped by. Night Sorrow's right arm and right arm's muscles were strengthened one by one. This time, it was much slower. After all, when strengthening his left arm and hand, his body was saturated with energy. After strengthening his left arm and hand, a large amount of energy was consumed. In 6 hours, Night Sorrow finished strengthening the tendons and veins in his right arm and right hand. Opening his eyes, Night Sorrow stretched out his arms and clenched his fists. Following his movements, Night Sorrow's arms and hands emitted caw-caw sounds. Night Sorrow felt as if he was squashing a fierce tiger to death. The strength in his arms was around 13,000 to 14,000 Jin. Looking at the sky outside, it was still filled with stars. Night Sorrow did not leave his room. He sat down and stabilized his cultivation. He had to stabilize his cultivation at the peak of the 3rd rank of element gathering tier. He had to stabilize his cultivation at the 2nd rank of the muscle strengthening realm. He cultivated all the way until dawn. Only then did Night Sorrow leave his room. With the help of the light, Night Sorrow discovered that his sleeves were a bit dirty. There was also a fishy smell. After opening his sleeves, Night Sorrow noticed that there were dark brown spots on the skin of his arms and the back of his palms. Impurities in his body. Night Sorrow knew that when he broke through, the impurities in his arms and muscles were forced out. This was a clear sign that his body had evolved. After taking a bath, Night Sorrow went to the loft where the dining room was located. 13. Come here. Once you start cultivating, you don't pay attention to the time. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow with some heartache. 13, you've improved again. Yang Lei could see that Night Sorrow was different. After entering the 2nd rank of the muscle strengthening realm, Night Sorrow's blood flowed much faster in his arms. His muscles and veins also contained energy. I've improved a bit. 9th senior sister, you can even see this. Night Sorrow sat down and said with a smile. Zuo, head, hair. Your arms probably have a strength of over 10,000 Jin. Even if you don't use your Jin Qi, it would be very difficult for you to fight against someone in the 5th or 6th rank of element gathering tier, Yang Lei said with some emotion. Night Sorrow's ability to strengthen his body was too strong. Her current body strength was about the same as Night Sorrow's, but her strength was not as strong as Night Sorrow's. And, more or less. But I still need to cultivate a bit more. I have the strength now, but I still need to familiarize myself with controlling it. But you have this foundation. If you go up against Sumu, he shouldn't have any advantage. With his talent, he should be suppressed by you. This is his capital. Yang Lei said after some analysis. Good, that's good. When it's the sect competition, I'll violently beat up those bastards from Nine Peak. I'll make sure they don't dare to be arrogant again. Aoi said excitedly. At the same time, she slammed her arm on the table, causing the plates, bowls, and chopsticks to jump up. Aoi's actions caused Chu Ning and the others, who were eating, to jump up in fright. They did not know what was going on. What are you looking at? Sit down and eat. Aoi glared at them, scaring Chu Ning and the others into quickly sitting down. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.